Back to the downside we go here to start things off on a interesting Monday here. Moody's, if you missed it, Moody's coming out with a downgrade to U.S. debt, sending futures sharply lower here. That's the NASDAQ right now, 1.5% in negative territory. If you flip over to the S&P 500, not as bad, but still full 1% to the downside. This is kind of an interesting note. If you go back to the 2008 global financial crisis, Moody's had essentially the same rating on U.S. debt as they do now. So a lot of people coming out this morning saying, yeah, kind of to be expected, but the market reacting nevertheless. Lots of things moving around here this morning. I was just checking out Airbnb to the downside here as well, to the tune of about 2%. More trouble for Airbnb over in Spain. 65,000 listings coming off their website over in Spain as of today. Nvidia, of course, back in focus as well. Lots of headlines, semiconductor related, as there always is. We'll get into those coming up. It's worth noting, as you see there, the calendar kind of light, economic calendar. There's lots of Fed speak today. Conference Board's leading index coming up at 10 o'clock this morning. We'll also get a couple of bond auctions at 11:30. That's basically it. More Fed speak throughout the afternoon. So, I mean, to be expected, according to a lot of people, but the market doesn't like this.
No, not at all, Brendo. I mean, Moody's starting the week off in a really good mood. You know I was going with that. You know I was going to go with that there. No, seriously, though, yeah, we'll talk about some of the reasons that they downgraded. They're not the, sorry, Andre. They're not the only rating agency to have dropped the rating target there on the United States debt back in 2023. There was also another drop there as well. I believe it was by, in any event, we'll cover it in a little bit. Lots to talk about today, guys. 107,000 was touched overnight by Bitcoin. Good look there.
You're
Nvidia.
happy about that.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully. Nvidia also in focus, Brendo, as Jensen is out in Taiwan making big announcements there. So we'll talk about that. Qualcomm entering the CPU market, and not just for smartphones now. So lots
more competition.
And Microsoft.
Yeah.
They got the developers conference all week. So should we be getting information from there?
Who knows what, but I mean, I'm sure there'll be something coming out of that Microsoft conference. Yeah. Nvidia with a, what are they calling it? A chip-to-chip communication platform and GPU cloud marketplace. All of that, if you were wondering. But Microsoft actually looking pretty good here, a little bit stronger than the rest. 0.8 only to the downside, back above 450 trying to hold. So all kinds of directions to look here this morning, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Softy's the strongest one. Yeah. Well, UNH is up today so far, so I mean, there's that.
Over $3 billion.
I guess. Probably. Yeah, over $300. As you said, Bitcoin made the run at it tried to get to the all-time high. We got to like 107, which is close enough. Okay. So it's not all bad in the market. And then I suppose Microsoft up 0.8%. We're supposed to be happy about that. But like whether or not you think this matters, you know, this downgrade, I think we did sell off last time this happened, and we sold off for a hot minute. That said, this is a new environment. Clearly, we're in a pretty big bull rally. I'm just watching Nvidia starting to bounce back up. Like the buyer's already starting to come back into this bad boy. What an unbelievable week they had along with the other chip names. So like, it's hard to not be short-term bearish because that's what happened here the last time. But then you're reminded of how far we've come up here. Like Nvidia is still holding the top end of its range. Kind of looks solid if it can hold 132, I'll tell you that much. But, you know, unfortunately, the other thing that happened was not much of an effort by or not a quality effort, I should say.
It's so funny they had such a good one on Friday.
By the least. The thing I don't like, so I had to check myself there because I said not much of an effort. No, I mean not much of a quality effort. Because one of my biggest beefs are when fans are like, oh man, the players didn't want it. They didn't try hard. I'm like, get the heck out of here. Like, they got beat, and the effort wasn't the effort to play. It just wasn't up to par for the Maple Leafs. Congratulations to the Panthers; they're a great team. But let's not pretend like these guys weren't playing their hearts out and then just got beat and beat bad, unfortunately. But that's just how it is. I'm wearing blue anyways because that's what's up. And I actually had it lined up. I was gonna wear the jersey if they won today, but we'll still wear blue. Still wear blue.
Yeah, all last week I never even thought about wearing blue, but yeah, it was interesting game there last night. But yeah, it was a fun weekend anyways. I mean, it's a long weekend here in Canada, So happy Victoria Day.
True.
Which my stream deck is not working. Happy Victoria Day to everybody out there today again. So it was a 20-minute drive in. So that was really nice. So we didn't have too much to deal with there on the road. So that was really nice. Tesla, just looking at that one, downside today, down 4%. So that's not helping anything here today. Again, some bad Cybertruck kind of talk. They're taking back less for their cars. Apparently, there's an offer there for some of them. We had written down at 65 grand or so for some of these used Cybertrucks, which just hit the market. So we'll see if that has any of an effect. I'm looking short on Tesla just because of the huge move that we've had up, and it's giving something back here a little bit. But it's not going to be at these levels. We need this market to open up to see where we're going to go, because as of right now, like, it's just kind of cooling off. We talked about that on Friday, right? That's why we sort of looked at that short near the end of the day, because we had bounced our head up against this level where, yeah, it couldn't get going. We had a nice move up. We had broke through 490 right there. Then we had broke through 500, got up to 510. Just couldn't break that shelf, or I guess the top side right there on Friday. So now I feel like there is a little bit of a downside play coming here for the NASDAQ as well. So we'll see. Fading pops today, I think, would be the right move. It's just a Monday. You know, we don't have too much going on. There's some Fed speak coming out. There's no numbers whatsoever. There's nothing. Fed at 8:30, Fed at 8:45, so it's happening right now. Fed's Logan speaks at 1. So, yeah, not much. And then we had the Nvidia conference that everybody was sort of waiting for. What was Jensen going to talk about? Talked about a lot of things. Doesn't seem to have rallied the stock too much there. We opened the show with some of those highlights, and we'll be talking about Nvidia throughout the whole day. So, yeah, we're excited. I mean, it should be a big day here today. I don't think it's like a free fall kind of a day, but definitely some profit taking. Yeah. I mean, if you came in and are nervous about this downgrade and things like that, the market's at great levels to take profits. I mean, no question. If we didn't think Nvidia was going to be north of 130 forever, I mean, people are going to take some profit. We were just at $90. We were at $88 on that low. You know, broke through 100. Yeah, I was just going to, whatever. I hate talking about those ultimate lows, but it's just more like, whoops, oh man, our charts. It's just more like we got above. Like, we've started to break now above into like a new sort of quadrant up here. Could we fade back into here? I would think so, yeah. You know, 114, 118, something like that. Not today, but I think that's where Nvidia wants to eventually go. But there's still lots of strength, right? You mentioned UNH, wow.
Well, it's strength with like air quotes on it. Because UNH, it's a great rally from the bottom, but like, you got to remember.
Yeah, where are you long?
Like where this thing, like, yeah, it's been pretty bad for UNH. So yeah, while you're up that 4%, at some point when it's this nasty, you're going to get a relief rally, which certainly is in play. You're not going to have the benefit of being short sell restricted today after the update on Friday. But yeah, back above $300. I was just looking at Alibaba, yikes. And that might be, there's a lot of flat bottom breaks where we had that support last week where you just gapped right underneath. I didn't even put this one on the note, but yeah, right underneath about 123 on BABA looks pretty spicy. Because I like things that if you break a shelf today and then we go rallying, you can short into the prior low. And BABA 123 is actually looking pretty solid as well. So there's a lot to look at. Unfortunately, you said, like, you'll come into a red day, but I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Like, plenty of stocks have some interesting bouncers to come in. We could see some 50-period moving averages for stocks that have beaten it. There's a lot to watch here. And Bitcoin 100K comes in play as support.
I was actually saying I actually bought some Bitcoin at these levels.
Nice.
So yeah, I want to just average in on the way down here and see what winds up happening. Average up, I guess, on the way down. Yeah, 103 today for Bitcoin. IBIT going to be in a little bit of trouble because it doesn't experience those moves over the weekend, right? So it just comes in today and sees us down from that 104, 105 area that we closed it on Friday. So IBIT downside here today, looking like it wants to go lower. So we'll just wait, man. I mean, the Nasdaq's only down 1.5%. What is ES even doing right now? Only down 1%. So I did want to have a quick look. Some of the bank stocks. I don't know. Do we have? Oh, we do have Michael Noss ready to go. Okay, that's great. Banks only down 0.92. And in a day when we've been talking many Nasdaq names and a little bit of Maple Leaf action as well, we'll just have a quick check-in on gold. And of course, that's much higher today as well, up 1.5%, bouncing beautifully off that 50-period moving average. So wanted to buy some, didn't. We'll see if gold can get back into this 290 area, but right now it's bouncing upside a little bit as well. And then oil. I saw oil prices a little bit more expensive Gas price is a little more expensive around here these days, but XLE is still downside in a nice little bottom, potentially forming down there on XLE gap higher into last week. So, yeah, lots of stuff happening. The market should be a fun one today. NASDAQ bouncing around. We'll check out the imbalances, which are really light for now. But let's go back to the desk and hear if we can get some new ideas.
Yeah, I'll bring in Michael Noss here and get his take on what this downgrade grade actually means. Because Mr. Noss, happy Monday. Thanks for jumping on a holiday Monday here in Canada. We've been through this many times. Sharif and I were just talking off screen. You know, I can't remember exactly, but there was one, I think it was a Monday morning as well during COVID, we came in, and I believe there was basically all of the rating agencies downgraded U.S. debt all at the same point. And same thing happened, market tanked. Obviously, we recovered from that. So give us your overview here of what this Moody's rating change means.
Yeah, and I wanted to specifically kind of focus on the Moody's downgrade and what it meant to the market before. Because, again, the beauty of technical analysis and the beauty of what we do is that we can go back and take a look, right? And it's, again, the beauty of ChatGPT is I can just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, let me know the last time Moody's downgraded debt. And then we just go to those dates in the chart. So first of all, I've just got a chart of what Moody's kind of classifies everyone as. And they're the orange line. These are the blue line's S&P, and then the green is Finch. So Moody's was AAA, and then just that next box down is where the U.S. is now. So it's not like this was downgraded to even lower than high grade. It's still the second to the most top that it has. So basically, I think if you look into the numbers, it means they think there's like a 5% greater chance than before that they could default. So it's a very insignificant kind of move in this grand chart. And these are subject to change, right? So you can downgrade, then a good GDP number comes out or something like that, and then they just get upgraded right back to where they were before, which was AAA. So I found 2 times in the past that Moody's actually downgraded the debt. So let's look at the chart for both of those. They kind of look pretty much the same. So this first one was actually 2011. I can't even remember what happened in 2011, but it must have been a lot of this, which I think Moody's, in my reading, focuses more on debt to GDP ratio, which is essentially saying how much do you bring in versus how much is your debt. If you think about it as a household, if you have $1 million worth of debt and a 30 grand a year income, you are at a much higher default risk on that debt than if you are someone who has 30 grand in debt and $1 million a year income. So they're looking at that ratio, and you can see a little bit of a pullback, not too much. It happened at the bottom of a pretty significant move, and then up and to the right from there. Then this next one I found with Moody's was in 2023, actually. So this was as we were coming out of the bear market. And this one, I don't know if you could say this was the cause, but caused a little bit more of a significant pullback, but not really, right? This, again, was coming out of that bear market that we had 2022, 2023, and a little bit of a pullback, and then, again, a year later higher. So I don't have a chart for this, but I went back and I said, okay, what happens a year after every downgrade that the U.S. market has ever had in history? And in every case, it was higher. So this seems like one of those things like an upgrade or a downgrade to a stock. We all trade stocks. We know that if something gets upgraded, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go up. If it gets downgraded, it doesn't necessarily mean it goes down. Rating agencies are quite often late to the party in the same way that the stock analysts are late to the party, the same way we kind of clown on the magazine covers also being late to the party. This last chart just kind of puts it all in perspective. So the 2 pink or purple horizontal lines were those 2 downgrades that we saw. So the question you got to kind of ask yourself as a longer term trader and investor, would you rather be buying when they downgrade the debt, or would you rather be selling? So there was a lot, like always, and it might just be my fault for spending too much time on Twitter, but there's a lot of alarmists out there of, this is going to crash the market and right, we're going right back to these lows and all in every case. But in none of these cases did we go back to the lows, right? The 2011 was at the end of the great financial collapse, and you can see we got nowhere near those lows. And again, the 2023 was nowhere near the Russia invasion or the rates or whatever we want to call it for that last bear market, and we got nowhere near those lows as well. So if we're going by history, we could expect a pullback. It seems like everything in the world is happening faster now, so that pullback could just be a day or so. Obviously not good news, but this is a very interesting day because it's all about how we react to this news. Again, you can see in the past, in both scenarios, it was actually a pretty down day, but I'm looking at the price action over here, and we're barely, we're down 0.5%. So we're barely reacting to this news. So it would make me think that maybe we've just kind of got desensitized to this, that over time we don't really care, or that it was already expected, it was already priced in. Maybe Moody's warned people ahead of time that this was going to happen, but who knows? But again, if we're following history, it seems like maybe a short-term little pullback. That pullback, to me, as long as we hold above those April tariff tantrum lows, is a buyable pullback, and then we can hopefully make a shot at new highs.
Yeah, this is a great chart. I think it's a good exercise for people just in general. Go to a 10-year look at the overall market anytime you get a little bit concerned. And at the end of the day, this is a giant nothing burger, and we should all just put buy orders in immediately, right, Mr. Noss?
Yeah, I've actually mortgaged the house. The bank's closed today because of the holiday, but maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I think it goes to show you that the market is a forward-looking mechanism. So the question isn't what happens because of the downgrade, it's what happens in spite of the downgrade. So if we end up pushing higher off this, again, it means it's already priced in, nobody cares. Anyone who's shorted into it will be kind of caught off guard. For me, I'm just looking at the price action and seeing 0.5% down in this market is nothing. We were getting like 4 or 5% down days. So to me, it seems like we may have already shrugged it off, and we might not even get those pullbacks that we saw in the last 2 times.
Given that we are, and let's just put this whole downgrade aside, given that we are so close to all-time highs once again, obviously more resistance possibly on the upside versus downside. What are you thinking as far as the overall market is concerned?
I think it's a FOMO market. I think it's a wall of worry kind of scenario in which this bounce was so fast that when I'm looking at the positioning data, we talked about commitment of traders data last week, the institutions are not as long as they were before this happened, and they're not as long as they should be. So I think that's why all of these dips we're seeing, even intraday, are getting bought up, because you only have till June, if you're a hedge fund or a large institution, to go report to your clients that, hey, the market's flat on the year and I'm down. Because, right, maybe you puked out in the lows, maybe you didn't buy the dip enough, whatever it is. So I think we're in this mode where we are just going to grind higher because everybody is so under-positioned to the long side, so that every time there's a dip, you're going to have a flurry of institutions trying to get in.
Yeah, I mean, anyone, and I think a lot of people are echoing that sentiment, anyone that got out, even beginning of April, going back to the end of March kind of thing, as you said, happened so quickly, and we're right back up here. I think a lot of people are still sitting around saying, what on earth happened? How do I deal with this?
Yeah, it reminds me of, if you go back on 2020, we even have that last chart we had up there. If you go back to 2020, it was the same thing where we had this bear market that was over like 2 weeks later. And then as soon as we broke all-time highs, there was some gains there. And then we just ripped for all of 21. Yeah, right there. And that seems like, it feels like we might be in the same kind of scenario. And in my opinion, what happened there was just what we talked about. So much under positioning that every time there was a dip or a pullback or bad news or whatever, these institutions are kind of had to get in. So call it a long squeeze or whatever it is, but it's almost as bad as a short squeeze, because as you move higher and the market's up whatever, if I'm an institution and I'm charging you a bunch of fees to manage your money and the market's up and I'm down, that is kind of like the worst situation you can be in.
A good perspective, I think, if we just stay on that chart for a second, good perspective is that's COVID, if anyone wasn't around for what the market did anyway during COVID. If you compare that to what we just lived through, a lot of people were, pretty scared at the bottom, pretty uncertain at the bottom. Here we are right back up. But just comparing those visually, this wasn't even that bad.
Yeah, and there's bear markets are different, right? Again, while we're on this chart, if you look at COVID, it's a little pop down and it's back up, and that's what I think causes this under positioning. We didn't see that so much in that 2022, 2023 bear market because that was a slow grind down, and then we hung out there for a while and we slowly moved lower. It wasn't this kind of snapback reaction that we have. So when we have that, we have to remember these institutions, they just can't hit the button like we can to get in. It takes them days or weeks or months of buying, and they can't chase new highs like we can because they're too big. They have to wait for pullback. So that's why, again, at COVID, we hit those all-time highs, and then we just messed around for a bit and then went higher. And I think part of that was those institutions. Every time there was a dip, they continued to buy because you remember COVID wasn't over then. It was just the fact that the government was doing some things to make the market better, and everybody was underpositioned. Again, no one knows for sure, but it feels to me like it's the same kind of thing going on. And I think this will be a good test. If this dip gets bought up right away, I think that's kind of the institution showing their hand of under positioning and that they have to get involved kind of as quickly as they can.
Michael Noss, great stuff as always. Enjoy your holiday Monday. We'll see you again later on.
See you tonight.
That's right, tonight.
Yes, sir. Look forward to talking to you tonight, Michael. Hey, maybe they got this downgrade just in time so the institutions could get a dip to buy. You never know. It wouldn't be crazy. Maybe someone's like, hey, we need the SPY back at the 200 period moving average stat. So what can we do to get it there so we can buy the dip? Because that would seem like the logical place. Because look, like I know it's the same chart, right? But I want to zoom it in so we can maybe talk a little brass tacks of what we might actually get to this week. I don't think we see that today. As Michael said, we're less than 1% down the S&P here right now. And if you look at, it was like 575, 576. I saw someone in the chat saying 572. Maybe we'd pull back into there. So you could have prior high 72. You could have that one as a 200 period. Like either way, I think that's going to be a nice little temporary support area. We get down there as a trader, you gotta be thinking about, well, if there's buyers, where else would they be sitting except buying into levels like that? So I'm going to be watching not just the futures, because I don't think we see that today, but individual stocks that have broken out from like the our tariff panic or liberation day high, whatever you want to call it, that have pulled back, that they're above those and can pull back into that resistance. Because I think that's going to be the place to start looking for some buys. Any that do it today, yes. This week for sure. And until proven otherwise, when you're in a bull market, it's like you got to be proven that you're not in it anymore. Short term, like for today, there's going to be some fades that I got, but I look at that S&P and it's like, okay, well, why wouldn't you buy the 200 period if we got there?
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit more trappy right now than anything as far as the market is concerned. I mean, we just went over a little bit there on the NQs. If we're going to look at the NQs themselves, hold on a second here, NQ, and we're going to go to Adara for the upgrades and downgrades. But just like we talked about on Friday, right? I mean, it's why we sort of we're looking to get short there, maybe near the end of the day. It's just been such a great move higher right here over the last, obviously, month and a bit, even a bit more than that, as we top out near this 21.4. And it's just like we had seen this top hit a couple times last week and then that little bit of a fade. So I just wonder, last week, even myself, like we got some money out of Google. I waited like one day and then put it into Eli Lilly. Like it's just everyone I felt like was feeling, and exactly what Michael said, there's money on the sidelines, feeling like maybe they missed this little bit of a bull run. I mean, we were up 20-something% from that bottom. So yeah, I think it's time to cool down a little bit. And this Moody's, obviously debt, rating downgrade is affecting it. But I mean, as Michael did sort of throw a little bit of cold water on the downplay here, and just the fact that, if we are looking to pick something up, maybe the time coming up soon that we can get rebounds from a move like this. And I mean, the whole market is built on debt, which is, it's just naturally a house of cards until eventually it falls down. But, we keep on talking about the debt ceiling keeps getting lifted there and raised in the United States. They keep passing more bills just to carry on more debt. As long as that keeps happening and the market keeps on doing what it's doing, the jobs number seems to be fine that we've been getting recently, the PPI, CPI, all of that seems to be under control. Fed Chair Powell's not really panicking, doesn't seem like yet. Trump's been happy with what's been happening. We had a couple deals. Apparently there's many, many more deals in the pipeline this this week. So we'll see if those get announced, or maybe even one deal could get announced. That would be nice. And then we'll just move on from there, right? I mean, this China tariff thing, when that gets solved, then do we worry about this Moody debt problem? Maybe not. So
nope.
But there's some stocks that have been upgraded and downgraded, not just the whole U.S. economy. Let's go find out which names are bumping around.
Some interesting names here on both sides of the board. We're going to start with RX Site, getting upgraded here by Wells Fargo. Archer Daniels Midland, slightly down in the day, but upgraded by UBS. United Airlines here with a UBS upgrade as well. And then we have Snap-on getting an upgrade from Barrington Research. The downgrade side of things, we get a little bit more interesting, especially with these first two names. Williams-Sonoma getting a downgrade from Telsey Advisory Group. Then Reddit with a downgrade here from Wells Fargo, down about 6% with a $115 price target. Next point with JMP Securities downgraded, and last but not least, Biohaven getting downgraded by RBC. Back to you.
Yeah, Reddit's down 7% this morning. So, like, you've got like a few names, especially I think CoreWeave is another one. But the difference between CoreWeave pulling back is it just made fresh highs last week. Like every day last week it was making fresh highs, it seemed like. But Reddit is a very, very different story here. Like it was not doing anything terribly crazy in the last week. Unfortunately, if you lose 103 here on Reddit, that's just a flat bottom break. And it's not even that big of a support level. So this could be in a bit of a challenge of the 100 level. It would put it in play for a possible SSR bounce, though. Going down 10%, can't say that usually a downgrade would be that big of a deal, but you throw in the individual downgrade with the market downgrade, and you might have something brewing here to the downside. Like that's a stock that if we do go from 1% to 2 to 3%, Reddit and a bounce play somewhere in the 90s would make some sense. Yeah, that goes SSR. It comes on the radar very, very quickly. Didn't realize it was down this much. CoreWeave, yeah, because it was at the highs. I can get why it would pull back this much, but Reddit down 7 points. Yikes.
Yeah, no, Reddit. I mean, I really like Reddit at that $100 mark, so I think that'll be something to look at once we get there. You already mentioned sort of Alibaba, not that it was on the list, but this is another name here down 2% and looking to maybe pick something up at a very, very key level of 120. So right now, you know, this came through there. I mean, we already talked about it. I'm just trying to cherry pick a little bit here, but that 120 is a great level for Alibaba. And so I want to see if we can hold that. And if we do, then I think there's a lot of room back up there to the upside. Not that I like the Chinese space, but just for today, if we do drop down another $1, which isn't that much, then I think Alibaba there at 120 could be the best play. I do have a long idea that we want to do today. We'll talk about that when that comes up, probably on our watch list. But you can see what's happening early, and I just want to show it to you. I don't have any specific catalyst for every single name on here, but every single name on here is a sell. Give UNH as a buy.
Of course.
So, you know, we'll talk about UNH there coming from the depths of hell. And then over here, the same way for space. That's the only other buy that we have on here. Then, of course, B is on here for a buy. So we'll wait to see. What is symbol B? How come I don't know what that symbol is?
Barnes Group? Is that Barnes?
Barrick Mining. See? What? No one even knows what that is. But right there, B. And then ABC. AMC, B, Citigroup. So we know what that is. Barrick. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Barrick Mining. Okay. The Canadian company there, so Barrick Gold. But all right, so anyways, all sells. And normally, you know, especially when you get Walmart, we don't have NASDAQ names on here yet. So Walmart's there as a sell. That's going to, you know, bring some of the retail names down. There's my biggest of the bears. BBAI is also a sell. Disney, which has been hot fire, that's a sell as well. So, you know, nothing really spared today on that front. And then we're going to wait to see. You think this market, look, this is not, I'm not like teasing the market here, but this is not that bad. Like once 925 hits and all the sell imbalances hit for the NASDAQ, then you'll probably see a little bit of a bump down. Hopefully I can remember this thought at about 924. Maybe we'll play short the NASDAQ because I do think that there's going to be some big sell imbalances. Now, the thing about it is when they're all sells, generally speaking, the market obviously will be falling down, but then there's that huge bump up when those sell orders have been filled. So we'll wait to see if that is the case. Airbnb also down today. Everything down. You know,
yeah, not much
other than UNH. Really.
UNH volatility. That's what's up right now.
Is there any other major names up that we don't know about?
Well, on my quote board, which I was literally just sorting, names. Like this is just the names that I look at. You got Moderna, which makes some sense, I suppose. You have some pharma names that are up. Obviously, gold is going to be up, but J&J, like that.
No, it's not really up.
Is J&J up?
It's up. It's up.
Ooh.
J&J is up a little bit.
Ooh, apparently I must have added something on eSignal because I need to restart to apply new subscriptions. Yeah, J&J, well, it's not yet. It's only up.
Really? Oh, I didn't have that option. I'll have to see.
2% to the upside. Although I just heard somebody say in the back, who might that be? Technical breakout. Look at the double bottom there that it put in. And breaking out on, the triple top from Friday, and then maybe it's breaking out. J&J is not the craziest moving stock in the world, but it's the right space because it seems like only healthcare stocks and anything inversely correlated to the market, that's what's up right now.
Bitcoin? It touched what got to 109?
Baby. 107.
All right.
Not bad. You see, as far as I'm concerned, that might as well be a test of the all-time high. Like, come on, like, how close do you actually have to get? Like, these are all, on a daily, these are all wicks into 109 on Bitcoin. So really, like, we went right into the top and pulled back. This still stays strong. Like, it's a bull flag. You hold 100K here, that's a big level this week. We can hold on to 100, 101 area where it's bounced before, and that would be pretty impressive. Because on this rally that we've had from 75, every single stop has been consolidation, break, consolidation, and we'll find out. So the 100,000 comes in play again here this week. I'll probably defend that today. Well, if it gets there. To the desk.
59.76, guys. That's where we close out on Friday on the ES June contract. We're above 5,900 right now, but we did lose it on the overnight low, 58.92. So here's the deal. We're going to use 5,900 as support until we give way. Then we're obviously looking at the overnight low. If we hold 5,900, what's that high? It's Friday's close, 59.76.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you take a second, jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. Absolutely free every morning. Has everything you need to know on it that is moving in the pre-market. Just be aware, Fed's Williams making some comments right now. There's going to be a long line of Fed speakers today. So just seeing some comments here again coming through from Fed's Williams. There was a class action, just before we get going here, there was a class action lawsuit I was reading about for MSTR about the way that they divulged their Bitcoin strategy, apparently. So this initial down move was on that headline, but here we go, right back up. So who cares? Let's talk about tech. Weak with the overall market, obviously, with this Moody's downgrade this morning. This was kind of interesting. I had no idea, but Sundar Pichai revealing that Alphabet once intensely kicked the tires on buying Netflix.
Really? Interesting.
Apparently that's a thing, so I guess he's regretting that now.
Definitely not during Joe Biden's administration, because the wrath of Lena Khan would not have allowed that. No, I'm kidding, of course, guys. We always have fun on the show. Here, let's talk about what happened here on Friday. Moody's cut the U.S. sovereign credit rating by one notch, Brendo, from AAA down to AA1, citing mounting federal debt, rising interest cost concerns as the 10-year, the 2-year, the 5-year, all the yields going higher, increasing the cost of payment on your debt. Also, they cited the lack of political will to address the structural deficits. This brings Moody in line with S&P, which downgraded U.S. debt back in 2011, as well as Fitch. I couldn't remember that one on the earlier segment here, which was cut back in 2023. All now assign the U.S. their second highest credit rating. Obviously, there's been economic fallout as a result. The 10-year rose 3 basis points up to that 4.5. The TLT ETF dropped about 1%, and the S&P 500, as you can see, opening up the day red. Analysts expect weaker demand for U.S. assets and higher borrowing costs. I don't know about that first part, but we'll see about the second part. The fiscal drivers behind the downgrade, that 2024 deficit already, Brendo, $1.05 trillion ahead. That's up 13% year over year. The interest expense keeps surging due to the higher rates and larger debt, and the projected debt to GDP ratio. Oh boy. I was talking to Neil about this off camera in the morning. 2024, 98%. We go 10 years down the road, Brendo. They're guiding 134% debt to GDP ratio if this doesn't get under control.
Hopefully they'll figure out a way to do exactly that. As a result, all of these, that's just Apple, but you can look at any of the big tech names, all of these down here this morning. As Sharif was mentioning, the actual move came after the close on Friday. Really haven't done much here, guys, this morning pre-market.
Yeah, but who doesn't have a high debt to GDP ratio? Like, okay, fine. As Shreve yells out, sweet.
Greenland.
Like, come on, man. No, like, okay, so Japan's like 200.
Monday?
What? I'm just saying, like, we're like over 100 here in Canada. Like, half of Europe's over 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're Italian, your family's Italian. You guys are over 100% too. Like, it's just everybody's high.
I mean, we got to wait for that Parmesan cheese business to start picking up again. You know? Too many people not eating cheese these days. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's more along the lines of, okay, we get it. Yes.
Stupid carbs. Why carbs getting bad raps? You know, come on, these Italian pick up the economy. You know.
You got
have some nice bread and cheese, you know, dairy, carbs.
I'll tell you this, you can't hate on the carbs too much when it's quality carbs, like good, fresh bread. Like you
I know, my kids run to the bakery yesterday because they want to get something to eat, and they come home with these, well, I shouldn't tell you because you'll be, anyways, like these pistachio-filled, cream-filled croissants.
Oh.
It's nuts. But I will, hopefully soon well, you're going on vacation next week, so.
I'm in Budapest.
Maybe even tomorrow.
I'm sure they have pastry. Good pastry.
They'll have
everyone in Europe has good pastry.
They'll have a lot of pastries.
Martin says Germany's like 60%. Okay, fine. Germany. Like, there's going to be pockets where it's not that crazy. That said, the thing is, last week provided you with a lot of sort of obvious, like some stocks, you could see some things going on, like Apple here, above 212. Anytime it got above 212, it looks like it was just a sell. Like sell into it wherever it happens to revert. Sometimes it would get to the next even dollar. But when I look at this, it's like, there's overhead resistance right now in Apple near the bottom of the range. So the first stop would be the prior lows at 210, but I'm looking short on pops in Apple. Will we get the pops at the open? I'm not sure. But this one in tech, I know we're going to talk about Nvidia next, so we can get the chips in there. But looking short on Apple specifically into the prior low, and then once you get to, if you get to 212, I would take another shot on a mean reversion up there. I mean, the backup plan would have been Amazon, but Amazon would have to, like, there was a wall for 2 days, 05, 06 on Amazon, but that's, I think, a little less likely to get to that price, so we're going to have to stick with Apple.
Yeah, look, for me, I was looking at the board on there, and I want to talk about all those names, but they're all coming up anyways. So I just wrote down market's cooling. It's time to pick your spots. I think when we're talking about tech weakness, I'm just going to look at the NASDAQ for right now. So I have the TQs short at 70. I have Google is another name maybe we won't talk about here as well. And I have Apple. So, I have all of these names. I think Apple underneath 210, that's worth trying for that short until we get above that key level again. We sort of talked about that numerous times. Apple looks like it's got a little top heavy rate in and around here, 213, 214, 215. Something in and around there could be a possibility. I'm going to talk about Nvidia and Tesla when it's that time. But Google, again, maybe I'm a little biased on this. I did sell out of some of this last week in and around 160 and rotated it into Eli Lilly a bit. But I don't know. It's just, again, I don't love this business, and I'm nervous about that OpenAI search engine. Chug some coffee here, trying to get going. 166, 168, but yeah, no, I like to push down here on Google today. I know it's not down as much as the rest, but this could be a name to look at. It had some nice quantum love last week, and we saw Google really start to pick up, but on a little bit of a longer time frame here. I wrote down 165 into 166. Just, I don't really see us getting above this area here today. It's underneath the 200 period. This looks like a decent short. We'll probably start it at 165, and then maybe it's 167, sort of the top that was there from Friday. So we'll look to see if Google gets back into this mix right into here, and we'll be able to short it. So I just think at 925, we're going to get another whoopsie where this market does come back down. So any kind of a bump into this, things have changed, right? It's not Friday afternoon anymore. We do get this downgrade, and tech is showing a little bit of weakness. So I'm going to fade any kind of a pop right into this level. I love it because it's Google. So I'm already sort of negative on a little bit on the macro. Look, I still own shares, but I'm still negative on it. But if we don't break this level from Friday, then I don't think we break it today. So I'm going to be going short here, Google. And if I lose on this, it'll probably be because it breaks through 167. So even though I have written here 165 to 167, let's see how, or 166, let's see how it bases out. Have enough shares where I can hold it through that 167. But honestly, if we rip up into here, then I have to watch these futures. I think, and that's what I wrote down here. It's kind of what Michael said. The tech wreck is here. not wreck, but the tech move is happening downside. It's much more aggressive than the ES. ES down 1, this is down 1.5. So for me on the NASDAQ, if we can bump up to $70 again, right where we were kind of worried about this fall down, then I just want to short it. So we'll go short here, the 200 period in and around $70 for the NASDAQ. So that has to bump up about 1%, right? I mean, remember, this is a triple levered ETF here. So I'm going to be trading the Qs. It's my number one, really my number one idea. I do have Tesla on here, and we'll get to that in a minute, but shorting the NASDAQ on pops is something that I want to do. I think there'll be some money coming out here early this week, and maybe it gets back in later on, but we're through earnings now. We wait for May 28th, which is Nvidia. And other than that, it's kind of like, let's just wait to hear what Trump has to say, who's been silent for the last little while. Bitcoin's kind of flat right now. I want to be tech short today until this sort of smoke clears.
Well, the only thing you did talk about was
white smoke.
White smoke. Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, because right now we're unclear right now of what's going on right now. It's white smoke and black smoke.
And then black smoke, yeah.
Right, so the Pope has already been chosen. Pope Leo from Chicago.
Villanova, man.
Yeah, apparently there's some people, people think that the Packers are in trouble this year because, you know, he's a Chicago Bears fan.
Well,
but thing is, if he's spreading the good word, then he's not going to be hating on any team.
But doesn't it mean? I thought it meant maybe the Knicks should win everything because he went to he went to Nova. Basically, the New York Knicks are Villanova.
Right.
It's like they got like 3 dudes from Nova.
Right.
So you go that way.
That could be that. That could be that way as well.
Go Knicks.
Cubs are having a good season. You know, not the White Sox, but apparently he's a White Sox fan.
Which is legit.
Maybe none of that means anything. All right. So
Nvidia means something.
Maybe choosing the new pope has nothing to do with the stock market. Maybe. Okay.
You never know.
All right. Let's go see what else we're talking about here. Oh, Nvidia, another tech name.
Yeah, there's a few. 2.5% right now for Nvidia, back above 132, trying to hold here. There's a couple of things to understand this morning. The company launching a chip-to-chip communication platform and GPU cloud marketplace. I have no idea what that means, but sounds cool.
I'm just going to pretend like I know. Maybe it'll come off like I do, Brendo. But here's what's happening. NVLink Fusion now allows third-party CPUs and ACIS connectors to connect to NVIDIA GPUs, Brendo. This apparently marks a huge shift from NVIDIA's previously closed NVLink program. The partners include here are going to be MediaTek, Marvell, AI Chip, Astrolab, some of the names we know, Synopsys, Cadence, Fujitsu, and Qualcomm, some bigger names there in the tech industry. CEO Jensen Huang saying, you can build semi-custom AI infrastructure, not just semi-custom chips. So they're looking at, you know, customizing across the board here. Why does this matter? Because NVIDIA you can now serve AI data centers using non-NVIDIA CPUs. And if we do the Qualcomm story, I'll explain to you a little bit more about that, which increases the market reach, into custom semis and ASIC heavy infrastructure. It positions NVIDIA as a neutral backbone provider as well across mixed architecture. But there are possible risks as well. Allowing third-party CPUs may reduce demand for NVIDIA's own Grace CPUs. However, analyst Rolf Bulk argues that the system-level competitiveness is enhanced, preserving NVIDIA's centrality in AI computing. Kind of reminds me of just like a different kind of perspective where if we don't get our foot in the game, somebody else will. And so might as well allow it so that we can maintain market dominance.
At the end of the day, NVIDIA trying to rally back to the upside here. I was just keeping an eye on the market overall. Just be aware, Feds Williams still speaking. JD Vance also making comments right now. Some Russia-related comments, but the market not doing anything. That was the Friday move, if anyone hasn't zoomed out a little bit on the NASDAQ, guys.
Yeah, and look, NVIDIA, it's down 3%, but you could in some ways argue it's holding up decently as we just get a little bit of a red candle in the futures as we speak. But I have 132 down for like an over-under. Like for me to be bullish on NVIDIA, okay, I have a support line. It's like 129 in here. You got to go back to Tuesday of last week on that big bull flag, and then it closed up there. But after that, you solidified support at the 132. So you're directly underneath that. If we can close the open range above 132, then you look for rebound longs. Otherwise, it feels like we're headed down into that 129 zone. Well, I like Apple for a short to pop, but I feel like if Nvidia is holding 132, that's one place I'd be looking longs. And then if we get to 129, cross that bridge if and when we're able to get there. But I'm also going to add to this. It wasn't on my list to look at Reddit until we saw the upgrade downgrade. If we are just crashing down in there, Reddit as an SSR bounce off 100 even looks pretty juicy as well, and I want to keep that on the back burner.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty excited about trading in general today. I want to be short most things. And I was just looking for a long. So I actually wrote down Nvidia 129 just to see here if we can hold this level from the 13th. So last week Tuesday, I guess, right into here where we had sort of that huge move up and then this sort of hold right into there at 129. So it's not something I'm going to be standing there waiting for this name to fall in and then completely like run me over right into here into 129. But this little level is something interesting to me. I think that we should be able to fall into that. Obviously, any sort of a top take gets me interested. 132 is pretty close to where we are right now. So I'm just gonna hold off to see what happens down here at 129 and change. It's a long that I like. Down 3% there today. We've talked about the emperor having no clothes, but Nvidia there last night, they had that big speech keynote there, I guess, at the conference. And I guess it wasn't as incredible as many thought, but I wonder if the market was a little different today. Would Nvidia, sort of be shrugging that off and we'd be focused more on what the environment's going to look like moving forward for them. So I'm still really positive about AI. I think many people are. Was this move back up justified? Maybe not. They got over the 3 trillion mark again. Huge move up on just UAE buy. I like it. I'm still thinking that, the huge shoe is Chinese. And if we can figure out that dominance and if they can stay over there and be bought, then we really, really like Nvidia moving forward. But that 129 is right here. Let's just see if we can sort of hold that gap. That's what I'm looking at, a 129 buy for Nvidia. It's the only bid that I have on here, unless I'm lying. No. Apple short, Nvidia long. So these are the names that I'm trying to look for right here. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens around that 129 mark. I think we get there. I'm waiting for 925. I mean, once those imbalances hit, we could have a quick another look here at what these imbalances are saying. There's a couple buys on there. Actually, Barrick just moved up with UNH. Other than that, everything else remains the same. Space, Barrick, and UNH. So healthcare, gold, and random, sort of short float stock. Other than that, man, Oklo down, Walmart down, banks down, Ford down, Archer, whatever, down, AT&T, there's names, Pfizer, there's a Pfizer there as well, Rio Tinto, JWN. So, retail downside, energy downside, banks downside. I feel like tech, the word, that should fall, that would be downside. So we're going to wait to see if there's more downside in crypto, guys.
Just be aware, guys, this red candle on the overall market, there's a statement being released from China on what they're calling, the U.S. undermines consensus reached in Geneva talks. So remember when they sent Scott Bessent to Geneva to meet with Chinese officials, they came up with some sort of agreement. China is now saying, again, U.S. undermines consensus reached in Geneva talks. They've asked the U.S. to, quote unquote, correct wrongdoing. So the market reacting a little bit there to the negative side on that. PTIX also flying around here. Little one up on a transaction. They bought some other company. All stock transaction there for PTIX. Let's talk about Tesla. Also had a huge move after the close on Friday on this Moody's downgrade here. You were kind of thinking about a Cybertruck at one point?
Yeah, I like that,
Brendo. Get a discount here from them on this?
That's actually a great question, because when I spoke to the rep last time, Brendo, she told me they like to juice up the numbers towards the end of the quarter. So as the quarter, the fiscal quarter, that is, winds down, the numbers go higher, the deliveries, that is. So I'll have to wait to the June quarter. Separately here with Tesla, though, guys, they fundamentally changed how shareholders can bring fiduciary lawsuits against the company. This all stems from the guy who had like 7 or 9 shares or whatever and brought that class action lawsuit against Elon Musk's pay package. Now you have to own 3% of the company. The company's valued over $1 trillion. That means you got to hold about $30 billion at least in stock to bring a fiduciary claim against the company. That is allowed under Texas law, where the company is now incorporated. So keep that in mind there. So we'll have to wait and see how that all works out. Now, with respect to the Cybertrucks, let's talk about this, Andre. Tesla is offering trade-ins for its Cybertruck Foundation series. The original MSRP, Brendo, over $100,000, now being floated around as $65,400 for the all-wheel drive Cybertruck with only about 6,200 miles. Why does this matter? Because Tesla's reportedly sitting on about 10,000 unsold Cybertrucks, raising questions about demand. The company recently introduced a cheaper trim with longer range but reduced features, not moving the needle. The market has pivoted towards the working man appeal, but traction appears to be a bit limited here.
4+% as a result for Tesla right now. There's more coming, guys, from China as well. Commerce Ministry on U.S. statement from Huawei chips. China will take firm steps to protect rights if the U.S. insists on damaging Chinese interests. So, again, there was an initial statement suggesting the U.S. has undermined whatever some of the agreement, at least that was made over in Switzerland a couple of weeks back. Now saying that, again, China will take firm steps to protect rights if the U.S. insists on damaging Chinese interests, guys.
Boy. Well, you never want to hear that kind of chatter. I mean, it doesn't really help things, although we're not really falling apart right now. So I feel like if it was, the market was perceiving that as really bad, some of these China headlines, we'd be a heck of a lot lower. Tesla, I'm looking at Friday's low, Thursday's close level, 343. So if we get up there, we had a double top at 350. It failed the 350 break, got back, and then, I mean, it was doing the dance and closed pretty much on the line at $350 on Friday. So you've got a wall there now with the $350 level. So underneath that, I want to be looking for fades. 43 is just the first one there for Tesla. So that's where I'd look. We kind of skipped crypto, but I guess we already mentioned, if we bounce, the last time we bounced down, there was like 101. So somewhere in the 100 to 101. I like the mean reversion long. Anytime you trend down, catch that bounce. Once we're at 101, that comes in play.
Look, the number one trade idea today is going to be Tesla shorting that 343 to 345 area. If we can get a bump up there for Tesla, then we're going to get that going. I don't know if that's going to happen, so we may have to get a lot more aggressive on Tesla than we had been. I traded the you-know-what out of this thing all last week, so we're very, very comfortable with Tesla. Had big winners last week, also some losers. We talked about trading it real early, and then you get despite it having this sort of downside push there near the middle of the morning, you had that huge move higher to begin with. We went from 346 all the way to 352. That's when we broke that 350 and we got really excited about it. Then we were able to find this bottom, eventually taking out 350 near the end of the day, only to get that bad news there about obviously the downgrade. And now we hear some Cybertruck sale issues. So I would think that we've already made that top now at 350, so we just play underneath it. And yeah, obviously, what turns out to be support is now resistance. So I'm going to be playing pretty hard off of this 343 there for Tesla. So again, the number one idea wouldn't be, I'm pretty confident. I like that trade. I'm sitting there right now to go short. We just got to get this like button higher here. Over 8,200 watching right now. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, get part of this chat right here as people are already tagging right here, tagging us over and over and over again. So you got to get into that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let's see if we can get over 1,000 likes right now. Get this algorithm going. I mean, the more people that watch, the more people will get in the chat, the more ideas we'll have, and the more fun the conversation. So get ready to rock and roll with Tesla. We're only a couple minutes to go until the imbalances come out. So yeah, for me, I'm short. I'm waiting to get short right here at 343. So that's possible. I don't think it happens early. We'll probably wind up finding a better level than that. But for me right now, the order that I'm willing to take is 343. I feel like we're going to be a lot more aggressive on the short on Tesla as the market opens up. I mean, it's taking the low of the day sort of as we speak. So we'll have to watch out for Tesla as the market bounces. Tesla's not bouncing at all. So again, aggressive move higher. There's a lot of traders going to be caught on the wrong side of this. I feel that even though it's broken through 350, that's going to be a level now that we can play off of to the short side. So I like it right here, short Tesla. I don't think for long, but for today, so far, that's my play. It's going to be a number one trade for me. Just has to come through. Probably 340 it might be where we started. But for right now, let's hold off on that low from Friday.
All right, quickly here, NVAX, 24%, trying to flirt with session highs right now. 865 was that spike high initially on this. FDA approval of BLA, which is Novavax COVID-19 vaccine. I feel like this is a couple of years dated story, but it's taken that long. $8, definitely, if you zoom out, pretty hard level for Novavax. You also wanted to mention crypto here. We didn't touch, kind of glance by it there. on the way, but back downside here for crypto, 1.5.
Yeah, it touched 107 yesterday, Brendo, which is not a bad look. There we can just do this right here. There we go. So here's what we've been looking at, guys, for crypto. It's been quite obviously very volatile, hitting $107,000 yesterday. There's also been about $575 million liquidated in crypto longs, and there seems to be a disproportionate amount of people on Binance's exchange anyway that are holding short positions. About 60% of BTC's positions are being held short, which is indicating bearish sentiment. Obviously, we'll have to keep an eye out on this one as we get into, as what Neil kind of just talked about there, very close to that all-time high, not exactly all-time highs, but we'll keep an eye out on that. Separately, quickly here, Brendo, with respect to Novavax's story here, they're dropping, I don't know why this COVID vaccine is coming out now with a kind of a ridiculous name, Nuvoxid or whatever. It's limited to about adults 65 or over, and individuals at 12 plus at risk are higher level of illness. The milestone here does trigger a $175 million payment from Sanofi to Novavax under a 2024 licensing deal, and the commercial delivery, Brendo, expected this fall.
Just quickly on NVAX as well, they did update their CapEx spending for the next 3 years to the upside as well. So NVAX, one to watch. Here's MicroStrategy to the downside. We mentioned earlier there was a class action lawsuit filed against MSTR, down 2%. It was just in regards to the way that they portrayed their Bitcoin strategy going forward. They also picked up, I think it was 7,200 more or something along those lines. So get ready for another offering shortly, I assume, here, guys, for MicroStrategy.
What they do, baby, they keep it. The consistency of Mr. Saylor is undeniable. Can't question it. So I saw in the chat, there's a Zima in the chat. I think any Bitcoin bulls are going to like it, especially Sharif. New Bitcoin all-time high will hit this week. Mark my words. Well, Sharif wins the bet if that happens, so I know he'll be happy. Well, this is not true. It has to break the high to get to 125, but all-time high doesn't mean it'll get to 125. But it'll be a better chance that Sharif can get that 125. I don't think that's happening at all. But shout out to all the Bitcoin bulls out there. NVAX, look, it went right. It already broke the $8 level, so that pretty much is gone, and then went into this overhead resistance at 850, which you guys can see here on the daily chart, pulling back in. That's a hefty pullback, but look at what happened at $8. There was somebody sort of sitting there just holding at $8 in both directions, so resistance to support. I think that's your key. If you lose that, you're waiting for some kind of like a 7.5 zone, I suppose, for the pre-market. But a bit of a wall there at the $8 level on NVAX. We've seen it do this before, and then you'll gap up and lose everything at the open. So it's got to hold VWAP off the opening range. Otherwise, you're waiting for something in the mid-7s down there. In a couple of minutes, we'll get a few more imbalances coming in, ideally. Or sorry, in 1 minute, we'll get a few more imbalances coming in. Just want to make sure we're locked and loaded. That penny stock is the only thing out there. Archer, 630 to the sell side. Of course, we already highlighted Sean there with UNH 350 to the buy side, but not a heck of a lot on the locator just yet, unless you're into those penny stocks.
Look, I actually bought more Bitcoin today. I mean, it's one thing to like Bitcoin and say, yay, Bitcoin. And it's one thing to actually go in there and buy it, right? So I'm going to sit there and buy it today and see if we're going to be right or wrong. I mean, I don't know how far this is going to drop in. I don't expect it to drop at all. I really like Bitcoin. I've liked it for a minute. We bought it in the mid 80s and I bought it again this morning at 103. I actually bought some more XRP today as well. I mean, I want to be long. I want to be long these some of these assets, and I like it, and I'm bought more. So shout out to anybody who is a Bitcoin bull there, putting their money where their mouth is. I'm doing it there today. On as far as trading it here, I haven't really looked at that yet. There's just too many other things happening. We will be on Bitcoin. I just want it to open up and then see what winds up happening. So absolutely nothing. Right now, the TQQ comes as a sell. We said the NASDAQ would probably hit a sell there, but nothing really happened at 925, and nothing's really happening again right now. So it's kind of a little bit more mixed. We get some random stocks in here, like a penny stock. So all these buys aren't really anything. The biggest one there would be UNH to come there. TSLA with a sell, so we can watch out to see if that's hitting anything. And of course, that's the other way around. So we'll have to wait to see Walmart, Bitcoin, It's a triple levered, right? TSLL. It's not. It isn't the other way. It's just a. Yeah, it's a long. Yeah, so it's a long. Yeah. So that's fine. So the fact that it came a sell is bad. SQQ, that's on there. There's AAPL. So yeah, not too much happening in the market right now as far as imbalances are concerned. So we'll have to wait to see. I mean, Tesla being number one trade. We'll see if it gets up there. I am sitting there. I'm sitting on Apple as well at 210. That's Apple's actually going the other way. So we're just at 208.50. That looks like it wants to get down. And then the name that is pretty unique to what I'm thinking about today is Google. We haven't really talked about that, but look at the shoot up here for Google. So we're going to have to wait now. That's going oppo what most of those other names are. Apple's going to the downside. We don't want to be wrong on Google direction-wise. Okay, Nvidia's going up. Okay, so that's good. So some of these names are starting to go. I mean, on a 5-minute chart, look how that looks on Google right there. So we'll have to wait. Maybe that's getting excited. But now with only 5 seconds left, hey, Adara, how are you doing today? It's nice to have you back. 3, 2, 1. All right, we are now open. Thank you, Adara, for that one. Let's watch out for Google. Google's Rip City right now up through 165. So this was kind of a level that I was looking at here on Google, but the market and Google specifically is starting to rip up. So here we go, man. Nice move higher right now. I'll take a small piece here at 65 because that's where we wanted to start the day. But remember, you'd be wrong on a stock, man. You don't have to be wrong for long. So if this goes up to 166, sort of where we were thinking about stopping out at, that will be the level. I'm going to wait for 165.75 now to see if we get something else. But 166 break, and we are out of Google.
Yeah, Apple's starting to make a bit of a move, but Nvidia goes to 133, so that's really starting to fly. Oh goodness, Novavax as well, right off the jump. NVAX retested the high, so it does bounce off that $8. Let's see it try to show a little bit more strength there as that one continues to go. Nvidia is really strong. Tesla's creeping to 38. Sorry, check that 39. Little break of that high. I'm going to get rid of these wicks at some point. And then we pull into that Friday support level, that 343, where we are looking for a bit of a fade. Apple doesn't look like it's going to give us much of anything. And along with this little bit of a bounce that we're getting, Bitcoin sideways and doing absolutely nothing so far. So yeah, not really crazy action here, but you are getting a move to the upside, which we're going to be patient looking for that short. Intel, what the heck happened to Intel this morning? Right. Intel breaking the lows, but I'm not sure why this stock was actually green at one point this morning. That makes absolutely zero sense. But my eyeballs are going to be on Nvidia, Apple, and Tesla. Oh, there was a turn already. Wow, Tesla just dropped $3 in an absolute heartbeat. Yeah, Tesla's already starting to look pretty weak here. You might not get this 343 at this rate.
There must be something. Okay, we're averaged in as far as we're wanting to go right now. We're short at 55s. Right here for Google. We talked about where we wanted. Okay, we just got to fill at 50, but oh no, we didn't actually. No, sorry, my bid's at 40s. Oh, there it is. Okay, nice move down here. Here it is. It's a big win right now for us on this name. Let's clear some more out. Again, this is a pretty. We only have 5 ideas on here, but there it is. 165 into 166. So take advantage of this early. Doesn't mean it's going to be right late, but there it is, man. Keep getting a little bit more out. We're pretty happy with what's happening now, man. There it is. It's going to be a big bang to start off the day. 70 cents in the money. Day goal met, but we already talked about that. That don't mean anything because I'll throw this day away in 2 seconds. So here we go. Let's get ready to go here. Get some more out near 165, which is where we started this party, Neil. There it is. Yes, sir. Almost your first dollar club will be in the position right here. There's Google. We wrote down the short. We talked about why we liked it. It is our one-day goal met, but that doesn't really matter. Let's see if we can get a little bit lower there on Google. We always get out too early. Hopefully we'll be able to hold this one for a little bit longer. So there it goes, man. Nice position so far to the downside. So let's keep going on, down a little lower. We'll figure out where we can go. 164.95, 164 and change, starting to come in on Google. There it is, man. It's going to be close enough to $1. Let's bid something out now as this name is coming right back in. So 1 for 1 early, and there it is, man. We'll go on $1 on our reload for Google. Nice move higher. Exactly the trade that we wanted. I mean, I don't know. There's probably others, but we pick on Google, and it's a nice move lower.
Yeah, and as it goes lower, good look over there because the Nasdaq's above the highs. Apple just lost it underneath 207, just tagged 206. You're still dropping. If I like it at 210, you're probably not shorting it at 208. Let's be realistic. But we'll see if we can't get a pullback. Maybe VWAP is something. Tesla just broke the low and is trying to hold here. So I don't think we get 343 unless something drastic happens here. But I want to see it maybe make a run at that pre-market high, and then we can think about shorting it somewhere other than our prescribed price that we're looking for. Novavax was the small capper that was going, and it just double tapped the top. So you failed the top again in the pre-market at about $8.50. So it needs to hold on to $8 on the way back in. This is what I want to see hold on Novavax. About the only level that we like for a long. Well, I shouldn't say that. We liked Nvidia. I liked Nvidia for a long, but I don't know if we're going to get those prices at this point. Nvidia holding well above 132 and starting to look like it's the strong one. I'm still not really sure. Intel was unveiling some GPUs and CPUs, which is why it was up in the first place, but that's now down. I hear ASST is making a bit of a move, and the other stock that I wanted to pay attention to was Reddit in case it got to 100. Well, Reddit already bouncing $4, so I guess the chance to buy in front of 100 is completely gone now. That went the other way. I was expecting Reddit would test lower on the downgrade. Not happening, so we just got to be a little bit patient here. As Tesla's not at range, Novavax is pretty much gone, Nvidia not really doing much of anything, and Apple, we're still looking for some kind of a pop to be able to short. This stock is just falling like a rock.
Yeah, Google's at the lows right now. Apple, I was going to talk about Apple too, but Apple there, this was again, so what we had written down was Apple short, Google short, we got it, the TQ short, which we'll have to wait for that maybe a minute, and then Tesla short, but there goes Apple. Apple absolutely getting crushed right now, but it doesn't, again, talking about a stock is great, but actually having one on board right here for me, this is the difference that I'm trying to make, like just for my own trading again, is like actually for me, trying to make some plays, trying to put on, real size and trying to make money on plays, because often we'll look down at this and I'll be like, what the heck? I talked about getting that short. And we've gotten run over on calls before as well and had to regroup. I mean, I think we had that Apple short 212 or something last week, and then it had to go against us, and then we had to wait for it. And so right here, Google does work for us early. I'm trying to be patient with this. I'm out of half already, which is pretty good for me to be able to hold this much all the way to the downside. I don't have any more bids on here, and the NASDAQ is really starting to go upside, so I am actually going to put one more bid here in the low 80s. Hopefully that will come up and pick us up right here, but it looks like the market's trying to go upside, and whenever that happens, and there we go, yes, we get it, so let's go, man. We are still riding that bear here on the NASDAQ, but we'll wait. Early position, we've got it. It's on Google. Let's wait to see what happens and go over to the big desk with Adara.
Just keep an eye here on ZIM. Couple tickers to watch out for. Zim Integrated Shippings actually did report earnings. It was a double beat, so keep an eye on ZIM. 20% short float. TMC also on watch here. TMC, the metals company here, with a decent short float as well. It's worth noting TMC also did report earnings on Wednesday after the close, so day 3 earnings move. SPCE, day 2 earnings here for Virgin Galactic. Moving to the upside in mRNA. On watch here as well with some overall health strength. No major economic data prints at 10 a.m., though it is worth noting we are going to be getting the leading index change month over month. And currently we do have White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt making some comments. Back to you.
Caroline,
yeah. Always have to pay attention there. Look, Nvidia looks incredibly strong. There isn't even a red candle yet to look for any kind of a pullback. This one's just absolutely blasting to the upside. So we're going to have to shift to the volume-weighted average price. The other name we're watching for a long side play is going to be Novavax. NVAX just ran the top again. So look at the topping tail candles on Novavax here. Like, you want to see it hold buyers a little bit higher, but like topping tail again through that 860 level. Hold on to your butts here, because here comes another sharp pullback. This is going to close with a pretty bearish candle. It's going to look like here. So I still like it in front of 8. I'm going to nibble in the 20s if we can close above the volume-weighted average price, or maybe even the 30s. But I want this closing on some kind of strength. Like, you don't want to buy it and have it flash through $8. I want to see some more strength come into this bad boy. Nvidia is absolutely gonzo. Apple's starting to get to the upside a little bit here. Let me just flash a bid here at 25, make sure we're on there, and put my stop through 8, so we're locked and loaded and ready to go. Nvidia continues to blast. 134 almost. I got to double check AMD and see if there's not as much strength over an advanced money destroyer. Sorry, yeah, whatever. Now I've just said it accidentally. So
it's not like I'm charging 5 cents every time or anything.
You probably could. We got change over there on the desk. Yeah. No, AMD not nearly as strong. It seems like it's just an Nvidia story as far as I can tell. And here comes Apple. For the first time, we could get our first green candle of the day on Apple. this could be our chance to get in underneath the volume-weighted average price or at the highs, because 210, you can like 210 all you want, but if it doesn't want to get there, then you're just never going to short it. So I have my bid out there on Novavax. Nvidia, we're looking for a VWAP dip buy to join into the long trade. And I'm still thinking the other way. I mean, Apple, with the market blasting here, blasting's maybe not the right word, but the market breaking overnight highs, and Apple can't even get to VWAP. So I still think this one's relatively weak, and we know there's overhead resistance once you get above 210 anyway. So let's let this one pull up a little bit more here. Just got to be a little bit patient with it.
Yeah, no, I'll say I think the market's, I think you use a good word there with blasting. I mean, this market is taking off, man. We don't have even any red candles right now here today. So it's a nice move higher right now for the market, and really just starting, I mean, no relief, just straight up, taking out the pre-market high without even looking at it, and then it just rips the rest of the day. So rest of the morning right here, it's 10 minutes in. We only have one position so far, so that's pretty unique as we both get pretty patient right now. I'm still waiting for this TQs. It's getting closer and closer, man, to taking a little bit of a short. I'm going to take it a small piece right now. I'm waiting for 75s. Remember, we want to stick to our plan, which was short 70s on here for the TQs. So we'll take a small little piece right now and then see where we go. Remember when Google was ripping up here and I was like, okay, we're getting a little bit, felt like, this move had happened for us pretty quickly there. So we started emptying it out. I was like, we have half left. We got out of a few more pieces when that happened. Remember, we got our 81s, then we got O's again as that broke through. So we'll reload it up here. But if this breaks 166 and this market decides to go, then fine. But we are officially now reloaded. So we have two positions on board. We've got the TQs and we have a reloaded Google position. But if this takes 166, that's my note. Oh, sorry, that's still TQQs. If this takes 166, that's still my note, and that's where we're clapping out of that. So, yeah, man, we're going to wait to see where it goes. But for right now, let's start bidding some 60s. We'll bid down again in the 30s or so. If we're lucky enough to get that, then great. But for right now, Google's at one of these tipping points right here that the market could just continue its nice move here, and in which case we don't necessarily want to be short too many things. But there it is right there, man. We'll face slap a little bit as it's coming back down in off of what looks to be a decent reload there for us. See if we get something. There it is. We get something in the low 50s. Now let's get a little bit lower. Short the futures, short Google on reload, man. Sometimes you got to have that confidence. We'll prop it up. But remember, have your outs. Because this market's already taken me for a little bit of a ride. Get down Google right now. Here we go. It's a nice move there. Good reload for us on Google. We doubled up our position. So let's scalp out just a little bit right here. Get some more out as we continue to hit the short for Google. For how long? I don't know. What's up, Adara?
SYTA, Seattle Mobile. This name has moved pretty frequently in the past. It is a repeat offender, if you will, in the small cap space. 3 million share float, just under 4% short float. No news that I can see right now in SYTA. Again, no economic data at 9:45, but at 10 a.m. we are going to be getting the leading index change. We have Fed speakers as well throughout the day. And Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just ended the press conference. So right now, no White House news on watch. Back to you.
Well, hey, Caroline, stop talking so we can head lower potentially. Because anytime the White House is talking, I guess you're afraid of to pump the market, right? But Nvidia is making a bit of a turn. I don't know if we're going to get that one into view up in a second, but Apple put one topping tail candle in on that bounce. There's your rejection of 205.5, jumped in underneath. It just bounced off the 205 even. I'm going to try to reload off of this local high here. So it's about 205.75 is the local top. We'll see if we can't play this one to the south side. This is what we wanted as a short. Still haven't got Novavax long yet. But I think that's pretty much, it's about to come in here. All right, Nvidia's starting to pull back. This could be the first dip here in Nvidia. I like the volume-weighted average price right now, 133. Clearly, it's one of the strongest names out there in the market that I can see anyways. You guys let me know in the chat if there's something stronger. Novavax, I guess we just missed it out in front of VWAP there. It was sitting at 20, sitting at like 28, and looks like it printed 32s on Novavax. Still want to play in front of the volume-weighted average price. Got to play it closer to the vest here and watch it closer as it gets down there. You don't want to miss this by a couple of cents. Novavax is absolutely flying right now. So we got a bit of a reload there at 205.5 on Apple. If the even dollar holds again, I'm getting more out in front of the even dollar on Apple. This is marching on the way to the volume-weighted average price. Relatively weak stock. I haven't checked any of the other Mag 7 names outside of Nvidia and Tesla to know what they're doing, and I can see Google with Sean. So there's got to be something else which is much stronger, in my opinion. Maybe it's like Softy or Meta or something. Nothing on Tesla. Tesla, nothing burger. So I'm not going to touch that till we get some kind of extreme move on Tesla that gives me more direction. For now, it's just Apple, and can't seem to get into Novavax or Nvidia on dips.
All right. Look, so we got more short there on the TQs. This is more like the play that we wanted. We already got a nice out down there in the 30s. Let's see if the TQs want to go again. Remember, a breakthrough 70 here, that's kind of the spot that we were looking at for the NASDAQ. So if it does break higher, please hit the like and the subscribe if you are with us right now, man. Over 11,000 of you right now, 1.4K. Let's get that up to 2K. If you're riding with me, then let's go, man. It's a hot dog kind of a day. Neil's got the average in on the short there, so we like that play as well. So we're both net short right now, trying to figure out this market with you here live. So, okay, so again, if the TQs break above 70, I'm gone. So that's just a level here. Let's put that order in right now. I'm not even trying to mess with it. We've taken our medicine. Let's go downside right now as we start to promote this play. I'm going to take a little bit more here on the TQs if I can get those 70s, which we're trying to get a little bit more. But there goes Google, man. We had a nice reload. We did take some out here in the 30s, in the 40s. Let's see if we get a 165. That's where my next bid is, 165.02. So hopefully we can get back into that level. I know it's going to be a little bit greedy to try to get that, but we'll see if we can. And then averaging back into the TQQs. But again, a 70 break, we're gone. We can throw our whole day away. I mean, this is not something that I'm not about not doing, right? I mean, we'll take some more bids there at 35, and we're just going to have to wait for this. I believe in the short, but the short today is definitely not working. But if we look at the TQs, and we'll bring down a chart here from eSignal, you know, you're right back up into this 200 period moving average and right at some of these tops. This is why I was thinking short. So if it breaks through here, then maybe we do retest the top and we can wait for a 71 to 71.50. Like if that comes in, good on us, right? There's Neil in NVAX now. So the first long of the day hits. So again, not a NASDAQ name. So we like that.
It is a NASDAQ name.
I just mean like, sorry.
Not a market name.
Yeah, it's like a.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's not like a Mag 7, like we've been talking about those. So
you actually made me look though.
Okay, there we go. Well, NVAX, yeah, so there it is. So you're long there on NVAX, short on Apple. I mean, I really like the Apple short, the Tesla play, and I don't want to keep talking about the same names, but I think early,
Microsoft.
It's important that Neil and I look for like our.
Oh, there
play.
goes VWAP on two things. I'll do two things at once here.
Yep,
there
go.
goes VWAP for the first time in Novavax. So you had to buy it. Look, admittedly, I didn't get it the other two times it bounced off VWAP. I tried and was not fast enough. And then when I was sitting there, didn't get the fill. But you've just lost the volume weighted average price. The other thing I'm gonna drop for you, if you put it from the low, in the pre-market, it's also breaking trend. So this is busting the trend from the pre-market here. So I'm not in this long unless it's above the volume weighted average price and above that trend line. Apple just, man, Nvidia just keeps going high. Apple's going to the lows, and Nvidia is breaking out the highs right now. So this is it's frustrating because I kind of liked Nvidia, but much, much lower than this. So Apple, there that goes. It was Microsoft after all. Like Microsoft green, not only is Microsoft green, Microsoft broke out the top. This is, hold on a second, that's a 52-week high. Sorry, no, never mind. Take that.
Futures.
That's a local top. It's not close to the 52-week high. That's 470 there. But big breakout happening on Microsoft, and I have no idea why this is bucking the trend. But Apple, which is the stock that we like the most for the short, didn't give you anything up top. We'll play it to VWAP again if we can. We've doubled out a couple times at 205, but lower highs abound on Apple. As far as where it can go, I'm looking at this gap here and saying you really don't have anything till 03. 03 and then 01 on Apple. So I think this is a trend short. With the market literally taking another top, this one continues to go lower. And Nvidia, Meta, Microsoft, that's what's so strong.
All right, guys. So we have to, we can't just be like, hey, man, we think the market's going down and then, not talk about when this winds up happening. So there it goes, man. It breaks through it. So we have an L right there. So 1 for 2. The market did not hold where I thought maybe it was going to. So there's the move higher, man. This is, again, a sticky no play. So I like it, but not enough today for us to, take any profit. We have one fill. nothing, 5%. There's no fill really, basically, to the downside there on the NASDAQ. But there's the breakthrough 70. And in order not to be stubborn, I just heard in my ear, by the way, Adair, there's some sort of a number coming out at 10. So I might have screwed that up. I didn't think there was any numbers there. There's nothing on our watch list, but it must be a minor one. All right, so we're just going to continue to watch out for Google. Really no reloads at this point. I mean, we'll reload it up here again if it comes into the 80s again, because we don't have any fills up there, but pretty close. So if this wants to blast higher, fine. Again, our target to get out of Google, the same thing, a break of 166. Not really trying to mess around too much with it. Let me just check what the banks are doing, and I always go over to JP Morgan.
It's a small number.
So there it goes. Yeah, it's just a housing number or something, isn't it?
U.S. leading index.
Oh, U.S. leading index. Okay, so that sounds like it would be a big one, but yeah, not really hitting our radar there yet. But just looking here at the banks, so JP Morgan going positive right here. Bitcoin up to 103, so that's good for your boy. We bought some down here, so we'll see if that can continue to hold it right there, as we're wondering, hey, did we do the wrong thing right now on Bitcoin? But there it comes right back down in. Google finally giving us, a push lower. So we've gotten some warning signs down here. We're going to get out again if we can come back into this level. But for right now, it is a downside push. It's the NASDAQ, it's Google, it's Apple. We could check out Nvidia. I mean, good trade on Apple. We did definitely
we'll
wanted
see.
that short.
That's a top. That's a break.
That's still to be determined. Okay, well, 135 right there on Nvidia, something to look at, as that's been the top. Google, I feel more confident about that now because it didn't run the top despite the NASDAQ. So I'll take a little bit more short here on Google for sure.
So it just, I could draw it for you, but effectively Apple breaking trend with a wick bottom in here. So there's your low, there's your first play. Remember, and this is for me, if I'm trying to short it at 210, or ideally you want something to be off the pre-market high, if I'm chasing to the low when the market's going, then I want to play the bottom end of the range or give it a chance to get to VWAP in here. So we played the first move, but that wasn't VWAP and it wasn't the pre-market low either. We just play it to the bottom, and when it does that bottom and tail candle, I'll jump out and look for the next opportunity. Apple's still relatively weak, but especially with a number coming out to a little extent, and the fact that it made this rejection, you can't see that. Made this, that's the best way, sorry guys. This rejection of the low with that wick, I'm jumping out on Apple. So it does work the short that we took, but now we're waiting for the better opportunity here. Maybe at the volume weighted average price or higher. Let's go to Adair.
So yeah, that number at 10, I did mention it earlier today. It's not a massive number. It's just going to be the leading index change month over month at 10 a.m.
I don't remember
but
that.
again, not a huge number, something worth noting regardless. I will be giving that number to you in about 8 minutes. Also keep an eye on MULN. I could not find any catalyst here in Mullen Automotive, but we know this is a stock people watch. It's now a penny stock, trading here around 21 cents. And MULN does have a notable short float of around 110%, what I'm seeing here in Trade Ideas. So more than 100% short float according to Trade Ideas data. MULN, about a 2.4 million share float. So small float, notable short float, guys. Back to you.
First off, that's cap, because everybody knows it is impossible for there to be any naked short selling. Absolutely, unequivocally, never happens in the markets. All right, let's just get this nonsense out of here.
Right.
My daughter said she says no cap so much.
She does?
Dude,
that's starting to become cap.
She's in grade 2. Grade 1s and 2s are like, whatever was like last year, like they're all over it like times 1,000. So I hear.
You're going to start hearing some more skibbity toilets talk? Hopefully not, man.
My parents were over last night and they're like, what is Aaron talking about?
Okay,
I'm like, trust me.
Come on, man, get them educated. You got to get them a little bit more educated up there. Again, all my friends know I'm from the street, so when my kids talk like that, they kind of know. I feel you, man. That's a bad look for sure. All right, so because it's annoying as hell, but it's cute, I guess, at the end of the day. It's actually pretty cute for the first 5 minutes. All right, so we've gone through all of that as well. All right, I don't know if the market's going to flush or not, but we just took a little bit of damage there, actually put some damage back onto this name. I'm going to play off that top right now. We said that we still wanted the 70 short, but I had to get out in case it ripped. So now we see this top here at $70.20. So I'm just literally, as that's another thing that my kids say, literally, Dad, scalping out some more of this trade right now at 69. There it is. Give me that. Did we get it? Yes, sir. Big time trade. We are now positive, believe it or not, on the NASDAQ as we waited for a top to come through, and then there it is right now. So we're going to go back short. So forget about 1 for 2. Try 2 for 2. But that first idea does not work out for us. And we added, oh boy, right now, we add a little bit to this Google position right now. So let me just punch out just a little bit here at 30s, and then we'll sit here for a little bit lower in the mid 20s, and then we'll see if we get a nice push down on Google and on the market. This market, man, we did put it back in, right? We put this trade back on. Now we're going to go short again. It's the same level that we talked about the whole time, but in order to not get run over, we get out, we take the L, and then we reassess what we're doing right now. So that's what we're doing, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys like that one, educated. But now we're starting to come back in just a little bit as we educate you guys on the futures. There it is. Let's go TQQs. This could be in my absolute biggest trade of the day. It just needs to come down in, man. We take it out, put it on the table here, and let's wait to see what winds up happening now with the NASDAQ. I mean, looking for a bigger move down here right now. The number, as Adair has mentioned, shouldn't be a huge market mover unless it comes, I guess, dramatic there, the U.S. indicator there. So we'll just wait on it. We're worried about that downgrade. Come on, man. I'm bidding 92. Can we get it? Can we get it? No, we cannot. Waiting for there it is. We get that this time. Waiting for 92s. Looks like we have a little bit of a topsy-turvy play there in Google. You're still into Apple. So back into Apple. We do like that play as well. So here we go, man. So far, so good. And before I throw it back to Neil, I just want to check out UNH right now just to see if there was any movement on it. There was not really. Yeah, instant dip down. Yeah, 298. What a great call that was, if anybody had that one. But a dip and rip opportunity there for UNH. We could always wait for it, but the market might not want to come down, guys. It just tried to break. That's what we were waiting for. That's why we get some out there of the TQQs. But right now, Google back upside. So is the market. So I think we're done. We have done pretty good getting some out here at some of these lows on this most recent dip. But, you know, I think we've been wrong so far here. At least I have. NASDAQ
keeps on going, and I keep looking over. I keep looking over at Nvidia. Like Apple, at some point is going to break this local top, but we jumped out when it made the bottom tail candle and waited for it to retest that 205 half level, which we're back into. But at some point, I got to be long something, and Nvidia doesn't want the volume weighted average price, which is what we thought we'd get on a pullback from a technical standpoint. Friday's lows sit at 133.5. Like that could be a nice little spot to try to jump into. But I want the long in Nvidia somewhere. It's just a matter of where we can get it. And then Novavax, which was, like I said, when it broke the trend, you've got to jump out of these things, man. Like it lost one shot at in front of VWAP. Now it's back under the 8 level. So you just got to wait patiently for another opportunity. So we're starting to, I guess, taper off on this upward move, which would mean if we don't get anything on Nvidia here, then I'm backing off till after 10 o'clock when we get a 15-minute candle in there. And I can't seem to get VWAP. It's still almost $1 from VWAP on Nvidia. That's so super strong today. Kind of crazy. I thought we'd be a little bit more weakness on this downgrade. You could pick up some of the good stocks, but unfortunately you can't. Right, Apple basically leveling off here. It's just sitting at my entry point. No test of VWAP. I'm going to get out some in front of 205 if we can. As I said, Novavax, I think you're waiting for at least 750 at this point or reclaim of the volume weighted average price. I'm not getting back into this far underneath VWAP. I should pay for locates on that one. I think I did, actually.
Yeah, the only long that we wanted early was Nvidia. We can talk about other names here. I mean, I'm just trying to look to see what's blasting off on my
Palantir
alert here. We have Shopify right here. We can have a quick look at Shopify to see if I got to change my list. I mean, I haven't added too many new names to this. But there's Shopify, yeah, right back to VWAP. So there's a little bit of an indicator right there for us. It's showing Alibaba moving. So let's go over. It's not linked up. These are e-signal charts being linked. Yeah, so Alibaba making an approach to VWAP. So that could be also another trade here hitting off on us. IBIT there, 103.4. Congratulations on that one. We're pretty happy to have reloaded our IBIT position. Not reloaded, added some to the IBIT position here this morning. I literally was sitting, I woke up to a 103 flat fill. Like I was at 103. It's so funny that I do this even on crypto. I was bidding $103,000 and won. So I was just bidding $1 ahead of 103, you know, just in case it misses me. So we got that fill there this afternoon, or this morning as well, this afternoon, depending on where you're at. Shout out to everybody there in Europe. But right now, this is what we're looking at. I'm looking at some of these alerts to see what is going off. But let's just talk about, again, the futures. I'm going to let this one slide now. We've taken a hit on it. We're back to green on the pause on the futures, but it's position pending. So we'll go 2 for 2 there, but we need this to drop out, right? Like my next bids, unfortunately, I only got one fill at 94, or in the, sorry, our best fill is 90s, but my last fill was 94 there, and then we got in O's. So I just took a little piece out right now. Very small win, man, 13 cents. This is very small. But if we can get something back into here, I was going to say that's my next bid. I thought I was bidding 67, but I looked and I wasn't. So I have to re-put that in there. I'm bidding 76s. So I just went a little bit higher than this area. And again, just looking at the 50-period moving average, that's 76 right there. And it also coincides with this dip down in the pre-market. Sorry, that's not the pre-market. That is Friday's low. So right into there. So if we can get that fill, great. Yeah, I can't really feel my hands. I am going to go get another coffee soon. But Google right now, Randy's on vacay right now. So with the day off, as it's in Canada here, it is Happy Victoria Day. To everybody that is here. If there's any names you guys want us to trade, please mention it or at least look at. Please mention in the chat. Over 1.7K of you right now with 11. Wow, thank you so much. Hit it up there for the siren. 11,000 of you watching right now. You might be thinking that I'm having a little bit of a, maybe I'm in a coma or something because I haven't mentioned Palantir yet.
I was gonna. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, you were just gonna. I saw you at SMCI up, and that's another name.
Well, there was a couple of names that I wanted to. Like Apple, I'll go to Apple first because Apple's at the volume weighted average price. So we'll get there and then I'll talk about a couple of other names that were just on the radar. So we got out of Apple off the local high, and that was at 205.75. We're shorting it basically at the 50 level. Just want to stay green on this thing if it rips up. I'll take another shot underneath VWAP, or I'll take a shot at the 208. Oh, that's right. We have a 10 o'clock number. I'll come back and we'll talk about those other names. Adara?
A little bit, slightly larger than expected drop here for the CB leading index change month over month, -1% versus -0.9% expected. NASDAQ continuing to chop around here, nothing super crazy. We know the market has been watching, though, after we got that Moody's credit downgrade for the U.S. Recovered nicely, still low red on the day for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, despite that bounce, which is really accentuated here off the open. Also bouncing is UNH. In case you missed it last week, the stock took quite a tumble after CEO Andrew Moody announced his resignation. Then we also had the company basically suspend its guidance. Now UNH, second day straight of attempting a bit of a recovery here. MSFT on watch. Microsoft, as mentioned earlier, one of the stronger Mag 7 names on the day. And they're holding their development or developers conference this week, so keep an eye on MSFT. Satya Nadella, CEO, set to deliver a keynote. Make sure to like and subscribe, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. So there's a break of VWAP. I'm glad we're out of Apple. We can always, if I still like it short and it's relatively weak, I can let the NASDAQ try to retest. So, and that's for any, to me, it's like for any short idea. Allow the NASDAQ to test Friday highs up at 21.5, or at least get closer to it for resistance, and then look to short a name. Because that could be at 208 here on Apple, and then we would still potentially like it. That would also mean Tesla could be on track to the 343, Friday's support or Friday's bottom. That was the level that I wanted to short that name, but we got to acknowledge the strength over here. I mean, Palantir went right into. Remember we were talking about those prior support levels on Friday? Like that's where you want to short some things. Palantir goes right into it. So Tesla doesn't get there, but Palantir gives it to you. It gives you the goods. But that's a trend up. I think as long as now you can connect 3 points in here, you can kind of do this. As long as you hold trend, usually you want to ride Palantir to the highs. And SMCI was the other one before we went to the Adara for the number. That's just straight trend up. So Nvidia strong. SMCI looking pretty strong as well. I just want to get rid of that so you can see. Look, I know it's a strong name. If it goes green, look at what keeps happening at 47 on SMCI. I'm going to pay for locates on this as I fight a sneeze. I'm going to pay for locates on this because if it does a rejection like this, then I'm going to look for follow through on SMCI. But you get a clean rejection of 47 on on Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess, and Friday. If that happens on SMCI, it's a stock that I would pivot to, but I don't want to stay too far away from that first plan. So we're able to get out of Apple when the getting was good, and now that we're going higher, I want to see the NASDAQ test that 21.5 overnight highs, and then look for a short back in on prior support here in Apple. Somewhere in the 08 range, we want to try to pick that one up. And yeah, Dushan also mentioning Tesla. I see Tesla as the other stock I have up. It just got to 340. So 343 is the level we're looking for on Tesla. That's that's support on Friday. I think it's pretty much screaming into it right now. All you got to do is hold above 340, and then you're like a couple of prints away from this giving you that shot. Thank you so much as we warm our hands up and get a refill on the cup of Joe. But the market's starting to scream a little bit here.
It's nice that I'm back on here. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just got a little bit of a coffee there. So it's nice to come back and see this at least. Google with the nice downside push as Google is near the lows of the day, but we have to stop it once again. Another fail. But this is fine, so we will go back to Redsville on the futures. But remember where our stop was and remember the profits that we were taking, right? So again, short in the teens, out once we break through 20. We actually get 20 flat, so it's a great fill for us right there. And then as Neil just mentioned, Tesla and some of these other names starting to really get off the cliff here and start to head back up to the upside. UNH looks like it wants to fade. Maybe that 307 days high could definitely be a play there for UNH.
The heck did Amazon?
We have to get a little bit away now from thinking about shorting the futures. We're well off of some of those levels now that we really wanted to look at, including like down into here, where we started. I really like the short into this level, $70. And now that we've broken above it, you're starting to get into some like sort of known areas right around there. Like that short would be 70.50. So, you know, if we wanted to do something, maybe there could be a short in and around here. You know, this top right there is 70.60. So there could be some plays. But I mean, when you're seeing the market and it's kind of going a little opposite of what you were thinking, you do have to be a little bit careful. So the other strength for me was going to be Nvidia all day. But like I said, that has to probably come back to VWAP whenever there's a gap, play to VWAP. So we'll wait for that. SMR had a great run last week. It looks like it was trying to give some back a little bit today early as well. And then whoops, that didn't change. That changed completely. And that started ripping back up to the upside. So we're shaking our head at SMR because that just keeps on getting upside, as well as its friend Oklo, I was noticing this morning as well, as that started to get going. So a lot of these quantum
D-Wave's
names
breaking out.
D-Wave, yeah, so QBTS, go ahead, do you have it up? Yeah.
D-Wave just broke a double top here. Is that sometimes you just go over and look at your e-signal, and we'll talk about e-signal a little bit later. Oh, what the heck? Okay.
Right now? Is it supposed to be me? I don't know.
Anyway, sometimes you're looking at your indicators.
Is my earpiece working, Fabe?
I don't know if mine is. But we just broke a double top, and you're like, what is breaking out the highs on volume? Well, QBTS is up 5%. I swear, I didn't even know that was on the screen.
Yeah, right, Neil.
No, I didn't. I swear. Anyways, this looks incredibly strong. And if I'm looking for a rollover short in Tesla in a strong market and waiting for Apple to get to my level short, well, sometimes you pivot to something which is just a simple trend trade, which QBTS, you're through Friday's high, you're through this morning's high. I'm going to move, like Novavax is doing this. That's why you get out when it breaks that trend. But we played it on the trend line. It's almost at the lows. So throw that one out unless it can base out 740 and welcome QBTS, qubits or D-Wave like I think it should be called, and try to play the first
must be news or something.
First available dip in D-Wave. I'm going to try and pick something up in the 70s here. That was a huge spike.
I don't know. The market just kind of ripped upside there a little bit. So I don't know what just happened. We were just short Google and laughing, and then all of a sudden the market just bumped right there. So Andre, can you test my earpiece just to make sure we're still good to go? Right there, I hear it. Thank you. All right, so here goes the market right now. Nice little blast up higher. We are able to get that short. I feel like something's just hit pretty aggressively right now. The NASDAQ is starting to blast higher. We've talked about that play. There it goes right there to the high side as the NASDAQ continues to go a little bit higher. Palantir, I think, is also grabbing a bid. Wow. U.S. downgrade. Yeah, big FU to that right now. The market is almost green. So, Adara, please.
Only note I'm seeing here, and again, I'm not sure if this is the move, but I think it's worth noting regardless. About a minute ago, Tom Lee, who is a noted analyst, he speaks on CNBC rather frequently, he said that he thinks that the market is going to close green today. So that's really all that was said. That came out around when we got this pop to the upside. I guess the market responding to said Tom Lee comments. He's still on CNBC, guys, so I'm going to keep a comment on that, but nothing else of note. Back to you.
Okay, that's a tough one. That's a tough pill to swallow if that's the news.
Mike Lee says the market's going to close green today?
Yeah.
No, I know. Sorry, I know.
Yeah,
I said
Spike Lee said the Knicks are going to win? What?
No, I said Spike Lee. It's a Knicks joke, man.
Yeah. We've all got that one. But unless, I mean, Obi probably not.
Obi would get
other
that.
Than
No, I'm joking. Of course he would.
Okay, let's not go there. But anyways, nice move up there even for Palantir trying to take out some of those levels. So it's a good thing, like I said, man, sometimes when there's blood in the water, you got to get away from it. And we talked about that with the futures. But I am re-short now, Google. It's just at that level. So barring, like, that's why we flip over to Adara immediately and we find out, like, is there some sort of significant news that has changed anything? You know, some talking head's opinion doesn't. I know who Tom Lee is, trust me. I mean, I'm a big tech bull myself.
I know.
No, I just mean like when some talking head, and I don't mean to downplay who he is, but it's just like, it almost feels like there has to be something more. So I'll just wait to see if there is something more that winds up rallying Google right now. But it's at the top, as is the market. And we'll be, and I'll have to be here to tell you guys, like, I was thinking short, like I wanted to fade pops all day. So we did that on the TQs. We followed our plan. And look, the plan is working. It's fine. Like, we're up pretty nicely here, especially on, we're not going to be up on the futures, but this Google trade has been real nice. But you know, we very, very much at risk of giving it back if we take this 166. So the market is upside and is trying to blast here. So yeah, I think the longs are what's been right. I mean, I know that Apple.
We're about to get to overhead resistance, though.
Right. So that's why I'm trying to re-short this market, but it doesn't look like it wants to be short at all for right now. We're short at 76 right now, and if it breaks 166, then we're out. So we're going to give this one about 25 cents, and it's coming in right now. So hopefully we do get a Tom Lee downgrade right now, but apparently we're just getting upgrades in this market, and it looks like it wants to take us out. So a breakthrough 166, and we're out. We have to be. Market completely flipping up on us on a dime. There it is. Flipped up on a dime right there. So yeah, we have to now wait. Google up to our level. I will still re-short this. This is the high of the level, but we have to get out as it is off, up and away right now. Congratulations, man. Whoever thought this market was turning green? Easy to make the prediction when we were only down 0.3, but wow, considering that upgrade and all that kind of stuff was not expected.
Well, it's one thing if you said it overnight.
Right.
It's another thing to say it when we're trending up into the highs. But like, we're still overnight top two. I said I'm going to wait for 20 or a test of 21.5. You're now at the upper band of that range, 50 points to that high, or at least to that even on the highs. I got Apple, which was, you had to get out of it. Like, there's a bottoming tail candle. Like, if you were flat, you might have been looking for a long, like a mean reversion long on Apple. To me, it's just getting out. Now you've got a trend line to the upside going into this 208 that could break. Oh, the other thing that's happening simultaneously,
of course, that happens to Google,
is Tesla. Tesla just broke through 340. It's headed directly into that 343, which is Friday's low. So you saw Palantir do the same move right into the Friday low and then back off. That's where I'm looking for the reversion back into. So you saw the trend line on Apple. I'm not shorting it unless it gets to at least that pre-market level resistance or break of trend. Tesla, same thing at 343. And QBTS, where are we sitting? I'm sitting at the prior high in front of 12. I was just sitting there at 1270, but this just broke $13. So I guess the first available dip, we'll try to grab this one. And Apple's still going higher, Tesla's still going higher, so I'm not really going to fight these. I got to wait for that perfect entry point.
So I just gave it one more shot on Google, giving ourselves 10 cents worth of risk right here to see if it wants to go a little lower. We did have that high wick there at the top. This is the exact same trade that we did on the futures where we broke through 70 and it didn't work out for us for very long on the futures right into here. It broke through, we got stopped out, then we took the short against that high and then it eventually broke and then we just took. That was stupid. That was that little bump up that we just experienced there. But here we go, man. Right back into Google and now it's, like, why does it have to break right there, putting us red on the name? You know, it's silly. And we just got right back into it. Now it's we're up just as much now as we were before on this name. So that sucks, man. We nailed the level perfectly fine. I feel fine because I got back into it, but I know that 166 level was definitely something I was looking at. So in my brain, again, it's like if that's going to be the level, and I'm fine with stopping out immediately. I mean, I feel like we did pretty good stopping out there because we didn't have to like withstand that other 20 cents, but especially there for Google, which right now is absolutely puking. That was risky. To just punch out at 166. Even dollar levels on stocks is much different than even dollar levels on ETFs. ETFs are, oh yes, wow, Neil. ETFs, good push down here. ETFs are just functions of whatever's in the basket. So even dollar values don't really matter too much, man. They'll push those things around, but depending on what's on the underlying. Oh boy, there we go. We are now green again on the day as this is really falling in on big time shares here for Google. So we nailed this yet last week, and we're absolutely destroying this again right now. Sorry that we had to get, okay, well, we'll take 21s too. Sorry that we had to get out when we did, breaking 166, but as it was pushing back lower, we busted the short. You see the price I had? It was as we were breaking lower there that we punched this short. So we'll play the momentum back to the downside. Never thought we'd have high of the day right back into VWAP like this, but it is what's happening. Google falling all over itself, and pretty proud to have written it down, and also proud how we executed this. You know, Neil and I are on a prop floor. So, wow. So for us to get in and out of these positions, not that hard to do. You just have to have, you know, the idea. And right there, Google breaking back down below. I like that trade. And here it goes, man. It's an absolute monster now. Where I'm almost at the highest spot we've been at all day, despite getting shut down there. Wow, Google's really pushing lower now. Oh boy. So we'll take $1 on this one. Google, nice move down. Out of just over half.
Great look over there with Google. I just got back into Apple here as it's breaking the trend. We didn't really get to that high there, everybody, on the NASDAQ, but you're close enough as well. So I'm back into Apple, waited for it to get to close to the pre-market low. It didn't quite get there, about 20, 30 cents away. But underneath that 207, we're going to add to it, stop at that prior high. Novavax, sorry, not Novavax. I got to remember that it's QBTS that I'm looking at, not Novavax. That's still pulling back in here. But everybody, if you've ever entered an order to buy and sell and the price that you got filled at is completely different from what you expected, that is called slippage. And that happens when you're trading on an old or underpowered PC, and it costs traders a bundle. So that's why our friends at Easy Trading Computers created the complete guide to trading computers. This guide shows you exactly what technology you need to succeed as a trader and to avoid slippage. Go ahead and scan the QR code or click the link in the description box to get a free copy of this guide. Easy Trading Computers, again, your tools are pretty much everything in this business, so shout out to them. You can check the link in the description and scan that QR code you see out in front of you as well. Wow, Nvidia.
They're making which way?
First things, QBTS does look no pullback into the volume weighted average price, but that prior high is now starting to hold. I'm going to try and grab some 1290s and buy this little, I'm not calling it a bull flag, but you guys can generally get the idea of what it looks like. If we lose the 3/4 mark, I want to jump out of this thing. So if we lose the 3/4 mark, I'm out. I'm going to get my stop order in and locked and loaded and ready to go. And hopefully we don't get any slippage, which we were just talking about. Although there's always a little bit of slippage in small cap stocks. Expect to have some of it. When I said, wow, Nvidia, it's simply because there goes Nvidia again. No test of the volume weighted average price. No real pullback. We're breaking out those highs one more time on NVDA. Just absolutely flying to the upside. I'm looking for something which is lagging that I can catch up with. And the first thought was, well, AMD's got a really solid hold of VWAP going on. So that could be a little something with the market blasting, or just a simple breakout play there on AMD. So one of those two looks like it's going to be a bit of a play for me, especially if we don't get this QBTS to the long side. The market just continues to go, as you can see here. And Nvidia is a big missed opportunity. Should have had the long somewhere. Didn't like too many things long, but when you're anticipating dips, there wasn't one in Nvidia. So it's not like you could have got a great price in this bad boy, unless you were taking a clean breakout, which I guess you could have had. So fair enough. I see Chang Henry saying QUBT has potential. I haven't looked at it. I really just was focused on QBTS because the local breakout that it had. These are the guys that had the big earnings, and they're breaking out the local high. That's why my focus would be on this one. It looks like a more bullish move on the daily chart, which is why it's my preference. But to each their own. I know the entire group is very strong right now.
All right, so we have a new position kind of out of the blue right here that we didn't talk too much about because I didn't think it was going to come in. We have Tesla short. I wrote down Tesla 243 to 245, so it just popped in there. So we're 50 cents in the money, and we just took some of that out immediately. Sorry, took out 60 cents. Well, we took out 50 cents. It was 60 cents. I mean, this name, again, what a different move that we saw. Like, was not really expecting this at all. So, I still want to give it to 345, so we'll have to leave this a little bit now. It's been a nice move. It's still down that 2%. Oh, man. Like, I was just looking at it, and it's this 200 period right into there. That's 344.50 into 345. You know, the higher end, really 346. Like, we talked about that as a key level maybe as well. But I'm not going to go short 43 and give this that high up. This is a very, very small kind of starter position for me here on Tesla. So doesn't mean we're not taking bids, right? We just had some more bids come out right there. It's going to be, hopefully, it's 75 cents in the money. Let's just preemptively hit this. Hopefully we'll get $1 on it, and we can get a little bit lower. There's $1 anyways on Tesla. So we'll hold this and see. There it is. Let's go. Let's take the $1. So there we go. We take another out there. We got 04s, right? Oh, now it's breaking lower. So there's a smooth $1 for us. Again, another sticky note name that we had wrote down. I hope you guys are watching and enjoying it. If you're like, what the hell is this sticky note this guy's talking about? That would make sense because you wouldn't be alone. I put it up every single day, and it's just trades I'm looking for. So there's Tesla, the #1 trade idea from the top, 343 into 345. So right now we're short 343. We just took $1 on it, on a little bit of it. So we'll see where it goes from here. But the TQ short, that was a big fail as well. We'll slap that on there. And then the Google short has been absolutely monstrous. And then Apple, we'll see if that ever gets back up into 210 again. But let's go Tesla. Maybe we get a downside push here. Maybe we don't. But we're short right now. Tesla only out right now of like 15%. I'm just noticing that. I'm going to put another one on the bid here. There we go. We take 20s. Now we'll see if Tesla wants to fall down. It's a Google and Tesla day for your boy right now, and they're really printing. We just wish we didn't have that negative trade on the TQs. But come on, Tesla. See if we can get a little bit lower and go over to the desk for an update with Adara.
Here's the IWM, tracking quite nicely here to the upside. This is the Russell 2000. Much like the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, we are right on the day, but near day's highs and finding some support. In the case of the IWM, there's a nice little base here around that 206 quarters level. So 206.2 as of right now, forming a little bit of support for the IWM. We are still well away from this high that we reached on Friday. Pretty good day for the IWM around that 210 level. Another ticker to watch out for in the small cap realm is ARQQ before we get to the small caps of the day. This one does have a $265 million market cap, so it is technically a small cap there. 9.3% short float. It's in the quantum space. Not a ton of volume, though, under 600,000 shares traded on the day. Let's start off with these small caps. We have NWTN. Day 2 move on Friday morning. They announced that Benjamin Zai has been appointed as the CEO of the company to help lead its pivot from EVs towards smart tech. Then we've got SYTA. I mentioned this one earlier. Ciata. It is a repeat mover in the small cap space. No news today, but we do have about a 3 million share float. Last but not least, TMC, the metals company here. They did, this is a day 3 earnings play for them. They reported a larger than expected loss per share, so they actually missed here on Q1 earnings per share, but they do have I think about 9% short float here for TMC, so it's going to be a day 3 move. Keep this on watch. Quite a few small cappers on the move today, guys. Back to you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely true. There's some serious small cappers on the move. Novavax, not one of them, unless you're interested in moves to the downside. Novavax just broke the low, so sometimes you have to get out. And when it broke trend, you guys can see what happened there. If you hold on to that one, you're absolutely rinsed. QBTS and the quantum names going higher. We got the dip at 13. Didn't get the 1290s. We got the 13s as it's continuing to go. We just broke the quarter level. Yes. We're looking to continue this trend above the prior high. So Friday high, pre-market high at about 1280. As long as we can hold on to those, going to be buying the dips. SF Day Trader, CoreWeave is at a new all-time high. Again, CoreWeave makes an all-time high literally every day. So at this point, It's just the day that ends in Y for CoreWeave as this continues to go blasting to the upside. I've paid for locates on this thing in case something stupid happens, like it gets to 100. And then Apple, which we just got, came right back in here, got into the pre-market low, and now back through 207. So I want this back into VWAP. 206 half is going to be the next level that we grab. And then the volume-weighted average price is Apple starting to come back in again. Like Apple, down 2 points. So the market's screaming. Apple never broke its high, which keeps it relatively strong. Relatively weak, I should say, not relatively strong, as you guys can see. But at some point, man, if this market blasts through 215, that's a different story. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't hear.
Keep an eye on U.S. Steel. This one making a big move to the upside, giving it back now. Reuters reporting that Nippon is, according to this, I guess a document about it, Nippon Steels are going to be investing $14 billion in U.S. Steel's operations if the Trump administration greenlights the deal. Apparently, this investment will include a new $4 billion steel mill. So again, Reuters reporting, citing a document to the effect, suggesting that Nippon Steel is going to be investing this $14 billion in U.S. Steel's operation, provided that Trump's administration greenlights the deal. And this deal, I guess, will include a $4 billion steel mill. So keep an eye on X. We know that Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel, or X, what it trades under, have been on watch for this potential acquisition and deal for quite some time. So X on the move, giving back now any bump that it just had. Back to you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm so skeptical of that deal going through, just based on all of the rhetoric that's basically come from both administrations. It's like, how can both sides be like, no, you don't want U.S. Steel in foreign hands, and then buy all you want? Maybe they're just trying to coax as much as they can out of them, keep playing the string, and then they pull the plug and then don't allow the deal anyways. But either way, we're still adjusting the same two names in here. Nvidia hasn't given us much of anything. I want Apple. Apple's starting to break a little bit, but I want this pulling down deep into VWAP, and then we can see if we can get more out on that bad boy. I do see QBTS is running into a little bit of trouble here at the third, but I still want to be buying dips on this trend above the prior high. So next dip into 13, we'll see if we can't grab it again and see what else is cooking.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get, we've been averaging out of some Google. We're also averaging out of some Tesla. There goes Tesla. Tesla right now is $2 right now in the money as Tesla just prints 341. And again, off our sticky note level of 343 as the potential high. We didn't even realize that it was up there. It came in, hit us at 343 because that's where we bid, and now it goes to the downside. So we've got $2 on Tesla, $1 on Google. That puts 3 right now on the board right here for us. So Maple Leafs just needed 1 win. We have $3 right here. But we do want to say thank you so much to Trade the Pool. If you scan that QR code there, they are redefining what risk means for traders. You can now access company capital of up to $200,000, real stocks, no CFDs. And your downside, it's simple. It's a limited one-time fee that starts at just $40. Get down, Tesla. $47. That means no blowing up your personal account. You get to trade with serious buying power, all while your loss is capped. You're doing the path to valuation. That's it. You're funded. Scan the QR code. Get 10% off your start today. And oh boy, Neil, here we go. Get that off the screen because right now it is getting to be one of those baths right now to the downside. Let's go Tesla. Let's go Google. There goes Tesla. Nice downside push. I'm bidding 340.05, hoping that comes in. And there it hits like that. As quick as my guy likes over there. It is $3 in the money right now for Tesla. And again, it's a big trade for us all over the place right now. I know you've got the short Apple, the long qubits, but right there's Tesla 343. There's Google 166. And oh boy, do we have those printing right now. We are easily now at the high of the day for myself. And we'll just sit back, relax, sip some cognac because right now, man, we are watching that money through the laundromat. We're washing it, but not wash trading. We're just going bid offer right now and trying to get some of these lows. Let's sit at 339 flat here for Tesla. That is where the 50-period moving average is. If we can get anything like that, then giddy up over there. But so far, so good. Bye-bye, Google. It was nice knowing you. It's too bad that we we did get stopped out right there, but we got right back in, and I would have not been able to live with thyself if we hadn't, but there it is. It's a nice move to the downside. I regret not betting Scotty Scheffler. yesterday, but there it goes to the downside there
That's
for
what
Google.
you said on Friday.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, actually, it wasn't Friday. Check that. I asked on Wednesday or Thursday, and you were like, bet on Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, we should have bet him.
Which we did not bet. I wanted to take the no on Scotty Scheffler.
Right, remember you said against the
I
field,
wanted to take the no against the field, and you said don't do that, so I didn't. And well, I mean, it's our account, so whatever. We would have both lost. But the market's starting to come in. Good look on Google over there. I want VWAP here on Apple. We're trying to get there. We just bounced off 206.5. Right, these closes were at the third. So if it bounces off like the 30s, I might move to there. But right now, I'm in front of the quarters. What just happened on QBTS? So this is going to fall into VWAP, and we should be able to get it. QBTS is like the weirdest thing ever. That's the second time today. You're sitting in front of like 13. I was sitting in front of 13. It just kind of goes to 03s, and I was sitting at 01s. Yeah, that's really starting to bounce higher. So I'm going to get off the bid there. I just missed the dip buy on QBTS. When the market's coming in, you know, and you're sitting there for a dip buy, when you miss it and we're at the lows, I kind of feel like I don't want to catch it if it bounces higher and then slams back down. So I'm going to see if we can't get something out here on Apple. It's now starting to hold that $0.50 level in front of the volume weighted average price. So it just bounced. Instead of it bounced off the 30s, I'd look to get some out there instead of the volume weighted average price. But Apple just continues to be, it gives it to you under VWAP. It gives it to you under the pre-market highs. It broke the trend as well. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to go over to CoreWeave. Because CoreWeave, remember I said CoreWeave was breaking out the high? No mas. CoreWeave actually just failed the all-time high. That's distinctly different. That's a topping tail candle at the all-time high. Every day is an all-time high in the stock. It's a recent IPO. But if this can finally break, I'm going to do it from here. This is the open trend line. Forget about all this nonsense. Like this would be breaking an open trend line at 82. That's a tricky one to trade under because you want to see it really lose VWAP after it does that. But if CoreWeave decides it has a red day in it from here, oh goodness, like look at that trend up with not a single red candle. If this puts in a red on the 15, I'm thinking short on CoreWeave. We just paid 1 cent per share.
Boom.
Well, I just paid 1 cent per share for locates. Shout out to Real Trading. Let's go to Adara.
Here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin here on the daily chart, giving up pretty much all of its gains from yesterday. It is worth noting, though, not a bad look when you actually look at this from a numerical standpoint or where we are on the chart. We were above, as of this morning, that 107,000 level for the first time since late January 2025. So we are certainly red today, but we did at one point clear a pretty major hurdle. And of course, yesterday, really great look for BTC. Also, if you zoom out a little bit, we're still clearly in this uptrend on the daily chart. So this might be some short-term shock for Bitcoin, but we're still above that 100,000 and that uptrend has been maintained. I also really quickly want to mention MSTR. In case people were not aware this morning, MicroStrategy did disclose there's apparently a class action lawsuit filed against the company alleging that they made false or misleading statements with regards to the possible profitability of Strategy's Bitcoin investment strategy and treasury operations, which, as you know, it is pretty aggressive. So that's the story here with Bitcoin and with MSTR. Let's get to some of these altcoins and other non-crypto related or non-Bitcoin related assets. Ethereum here down more than Bitcoin, down about 4% on the day, still holding on to that 2,400 level. XRP down 3%, BNB down 1%, Solana down 6%, Cardano and Dogecoin both down about 4%. So generally the story here with these crypto names is going to be lots of weakness today, a little bit more so maybe than what we're seeing with the market. Back to you.
Yeah, those are ugly.
Oh boy. Yeah, watch out there. We are recently, I mean, we're $400 in the money. I wish it was a significant portion there for Bitcoin as we did rebuy those bottoms. And I don't know, like this market, Google has pulled back enough. Like I'm just, right now we're actually right here. We're going to be at 2 times our goal right now, but that's not, it's important to know that because for me, you got to look at and you got to feel like sometimes greed is something where it's like you want to push and you want to keep like trying to have these big, huge monster days. But at the same time, once you hit your goals and things like that, I think it's one thing to let the rest kind of ride down. But because this market's been really choppy lately, meaning like very news related, you could come in and something that's $1 or $2 in the money and turns out to be, and it depends on your stock, it could be 10 cents or 20 cents on a QBTS, or different stocks are going to trade differently. But it's like when you have this kind of a move down and the market momentum kind of dies, generally speaking, you don't want to be caught left holding the bag. So for me, it's a little bit of one of those situations where, like, we just took $4 there on Tesla. So I mean, a $4 winner is nothing to be, even if you had a little small shares up there at the top, you're still going to take that, right? The share size is not that important. It's about practicing and making sure that you've got the winners on so that you can upsize. I've been talking about that with Joe as well, right? It's just like once you have the format and you have your methodology, then it's time to start upping your shares. And when you start to see a little bit of success, that's when you're like, okay, I'm glad I upped them. And then you always feel like, man, why did I up them? Because now I'm going through a sort of a bad streak, and that could happen, right? But stay in your zone and looking what you're looking for. So today we were looking for that 343, so we grabbed it, and we also were looking for short in Google, and we grabbed that how many times? I mean, this is exactly the trade plan that worked out for us. And when it doesn't work out, we can stay away, right? Like Apple, we don't need to be on that today. We should have been, but it didn't get to our 209, 210 area, so we stay away. But what a good reload that was right there. And then the other trade that we've really sort of well, we're going to be 2 for 3, one loss here, and that's on the futures, right? Once that broke through 70, we should have stayed away. We put on a little bit more risk right there at 70.50, only to have that break higher. But yeah, so this will be the red stock today. $3 in here, $1.80 in the money here, but that's come back up nicely now for Google. So I only have 22 or 3% left of this trade from the top. We really emptied most of it out at 165. Didn't get enough out down here. So let's see if Google wants to make that wick bottom again. The volume profile, or I guess it's not volume profile, but the volume's not really telling me anything. Right now, it's been pretty weak on this way down. So maybe there are some buyers, but I haven't seen like that big candle yet to tell me that this short is over with. So maybe we'll just hold it back into VWAP until we get like a capitulation candle back up to the upside. But for right now, kind of just holding out. Wish we got out more at the bottom, but such is life. So yeah, CoreWeave, you're on Apple still.
Well, no. Denied. It's just, I'm out of Apple. It bounced off the volume weighted average price, so you kind of usually know the deal. Pulled into our next level. It did a trend break, an uptrend, trend break, bounce off VWAP, and I'm out. And the thing about it is with Apple, we can get back into it. But at this point, it's showing me an upward trend that I want to break down and short under VWAP. So whether it's under VWAP or shorting a trend break, waiting for it to get to maybe 208, 208.5 as the next leg to the upside, who knows? But just going to try to play it station by station to the best of our abilities, as the market is showing some signs of strength, obviously. Like, you have one red candle, and then on that pullback, we don't go back into, either VWAP or overnight highs, nothing like that. Like, you're still out and about near these tops. So another run at the high can give you a chance to reload some of your shorts if that is what you're looking for. Oh, the other addition here, D-Wave, I should say, it's got this. Here, connect these trends, and if it breaks the trend line, it's our break even underneath the 13 level. So I'll get out if we lose 13 even, but I'm going to start buying in front of that trend line one more time here on QBTS. And big shout out everybody, because QBTS, and you guys were talking about it, but the other way you could find this was just a scanner on eSignal, high volume breaking out those highs. So big shout out to traders that are on eSignal, and if you're not, then the first month is free. They're waiving fees. You can trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade your game. Capitalize with an easy-to-use, all-in-one platform with reliable data, all of the indicators you could imagine, so you can back test, forward test, use a balance locator, which we'll show you guys at the end of the day. It's all in real time, and it is very intuitive. And as I said, the first month is free, so you can try it out and give it a shot, and if it's for you, great. And if not, then it didn't cost you anything. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you, link in the description as well. And let's go to Adara at the desk, I believe.
One, we have the Associated Press reporting here, and also apparently a White House official seconding this. Donald Trump's call with Vladimir Putin of Russia is apparently underway. Now, this is only on watch because we know geopolitical tensions can and will move this market from time to time, so be aware. Donald Trump on this call. Also be aware of STM. This is STM, ST Microelectronics. It is a stock here, trading here, it looks like on the NY. So keep an eye on STM. I am seeing this circulating on social media. Banyan Hill, which is a publication for investing ideas, they basically posted about this one saying that this could be the secret engine behind Starlink. So STM on watch reportedly, according to this analyst group here, Banyan Hill, this publisher, as a potential Starlink correlation. Keep an eye on this ticker and keep an eye on the market as we do reportedly have that call. Back to you.
All right, yeah, we're trying to do all of that basically all at once, and as try to look at our position. Shout out to Obi back there shorting Amazon. That's a good trade. Yeah, so we're trying to keep our eye, and this is what I was talking about with Obi sort of on chat there, is like how in the heck do I know that this move's going to happen back upside? I mean, you don't. So you really just got to start to average out. We've been looking for more indicators. I've looked at RSI and things like that, but the more I sort of clump up the level 2 or the charts, it's not super interesting to me to do that. So we'll wait to see if there's anything else hitting for us technically, and we'll do some work here over the afternoon to see if we can get a little bit better. Tesla right now, obviously that's going to be a name that's bumping around here. This is the hot list, so Neil just did the read there for e-signals. So this is an indicator that I look at. Plug Power right now moving around, that's up or down 6%, up 6%, sorry. So let's have a quick look at Plug, as I see that it is plugged itself below $1 there right now, but a nice move upside today. Wow, really nice move there for Plug Power, 75 million shares. So that's coming on here. There's QBTS showing up. Again, new 52-week high for CoreWeave. Wow, $85. I know we've indicated that as well. QBTS, new 52-week high. There's Apple right now, another name that traders looking at. There's Mom Spaghetti, Rigetti. There's Palantir still down. There's your NVAX up as well. Well, I guess there's going to be no stopping CoreWeave because
it is ridiculous.
It's just Rip City right now on CRWV, and we've seen names like a Reddit get hit today. This name will come back to life, right? But what a good earnings report I guess they had. It went down on earnings though, but now right back up. Huge move there last week as the Saudis like the business, Nvidia likes the business, Nvidia goes higher, CoreWeave goes higher. So, you know, as this is happening right now, Nvidia is about to turn green on the day, and actually was already green up there at 135. So the only long that we had written down today was Nvidia, but we wrote it down at 129. More like 130, we talked about that, but it just didn't come through right now. All right, just in spirit of being short, we're now above the 50-period moving average, so I do have a bid. I thought I did. Yeah, it's 339.25. We may have to change that a little bit because Tesla, I'm going to change it right now. That level we keep on bouncing off of is this 50-period. So let me put something down here at 339. I'm going to put out 10% of what we have left. 339.77. We'll give a little Ray Bork, Paul Coffey action right there, and we'll wait on that bid at 77 to see if that's coming in there. And then, honestly, man, let's see if we can get a little lower on Google in and around 164. So just a little bit of talk there. RGTI, just because I mentioned it. Let me have a quick look. I was in this name at $6, out at $9, and I thought I was doing pretty good. But this is up to $12 right now. Rigetti taking out some of these highs as well. What a healthy stock this looks like on the daily chart as well, needing to break through right here, 1260, 1270. So that would be a great break if we can get that on Rigetti. So we'll pay attention to see if that comes in. All right, a lot of talk there about a couple different names. We'll see if Tesla can hold 340. We'll see if Google can hold 164, and we'll see what's on the mind of Adara at the desk.
We have a kind of flattish, for lack of a better term, sector board. We know that we did have a gap down today, and a lot of the market trying to recover, but some sectors certainly are not. Consumer durables, Tesla here, still red on the day, just below that 340 level, down about 2.85% here. Energy minerals, weak across the board. CVX, notably red here, so keep an eye on oil, any of these energy names. Transportation, weak, with UPS especially red. But there's some strength as well. United Healthcare here, UNH, holding on to that $300 level for now, and trying to lead the health services sector to the upside, by far the strongest name here. Communications, some green names as well. Technology services, we do have some weakness. Google, Palantir, ServiceNow, Netflix to the downside. Keep an eye on Microsoft, though. They do have their developers conference today, and we have Satya Nadella, CEO, set to deliver a keynote. Electronic technology, Apple red, but Nvidia, Broadcom, despite some of these chip names being on watch with Computex, they're actually pretty flat, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, it's definitely a stock picker's market. Overall, the market hasn't gone green, but it looks like it wants to. About to potentially break this trend on QBTS. From the highs, it'll be underneath 1330. So just going to move my stop manually in there. And that's probably the other thing about automated trading over at eSignal is you can put an API access. You can actually trade off of it. For me, if I draw a trend line, I put a trend line in there, I'm manually moving my stop. Every single time we get another breakout higher, but that's one of the things that you could easily automate with the API. So if we lose 1330, we're going to jump out of that one. Apple, this PTIX keeps on halting for everybody out here. Second up halt, but this one's at a high of daybreak, 230% to the upside. This stock was pennies a couple of weeks ago. So this is, needless to say, a ridiculous move that we always tell people no one ever went broke taking profit, but this is looking pretty bullish. I feel like a lot of people are going to let this one ride here. $10 the halt price. Sorry, $10.04 the halt price. $10.30 is the current tap. So trail out there on QBTS is it just came back underneath the 1/3 mark. So this is your trend break. We'll jump out of it. We'll wait for either VWAP or retest of that prior high, somewhere from 13 to 1270 back here on QBTS. We just bought that dip when it held 13, and now it looks like it wants to break back under. Apple, we got away from at the right moment. It bounced off VWAP right back to pre-market lows and where we got it last time at 207.5. So going to look for the re-entry here on AAPL. It's been so far so good for this stock. Let me just see if I can get it in the quarter range there and see if it can pull back into the volume weighted average price one more time on Apple as we go back to this well. Nvidia also could be a bit of a breakdown happening here. I got to check CoreWeave because I do want to see if I can get a reversion on CoreWeave.
All right, we'll just take $4 right there on Tesla as it comes right into 339. We did take some 339.70s there. Then we just get 339. That's the best that we've had so far on Tesla. Let's just wait to see where it wants to go. Let me check out Netflix. We did have Raider Trader on, which was saying maybe the next shoe to fall. This is how I understood it. Maybe I'll have to message him. But watch out for Netflix maybe coming back in. It's had a nice little run to the upside right there. So NFLX
more short
down. Yeah, I thought
Netflix was 2. So Netflix was the number 2 idea. There was something else you liked more.
Yeah, there was.
Was it Uber?
It was Uber, yeah. He liked Uber short as well. So we could double check on that one as well. Yeah, Uber short. Well, Uber he's going to be wrong on. But I am not very long on Uber, but we're long on Uber. Uber at 52-week highs right now. Netflix still, same way, man. These have been great companies. That is for sure. Today's sort of talk, we looked at a little bit of UNH earlier. I'm just going to leave Tesla alone, man. Sharif, it's $4 in the money right now. So we're pretty happy with that play. Right there, Stream Deck might not be up for you because our computers maybe had restarted. We are in the money with Google as well. But yeah, UNH, nice move there. Thank you. 3.5% up for United Health today. We have been talking about some of these names, like a Humana was brought to you, and I just thought about it because we talked about this with Raider as well. There on Thursday, Friday. XLV nicely recovering as well a little bit in the ETF that I've been slowly buying a little bit, dip buying. You guys know this, XBI a little bit, which has recovered a little bit from there in these levels. We recently did buy some around $76. So just last week, we actually talked about it live on the show. So it's not up that much right now. More to come there for XBI. AbbVie is my largest. Well, Eli Lilly might be now, but my largest sort of name in this space has been AbbVie. Bought this a way long ago there. I like I forget who they took out, but they now own Botox. So this was a long time ago that they took them out, and that's when I was interested in it, and we got into that name as well. JP Morgan pulling back a little bit from the bank side of things. Crypto, let's go, man. This is what I'm saying. It's one thing to say I think crypto's going somewhere. It's another thing to actually buy these highs, and I'm stupid enough to maybe have done that. I bought some more this morning at 103. I talked about that when it was at 102, so it's easy to talk about now because it's in the money. And then we also did buy, and I know Adara is going to go through some more. Well, we've already done the crypto minute, and we don't have, I'm going to give you what's for lunch in a second here. But right now, we do have, I got to wait for Joe. He's not back at his desk. Just a little talk there. We did buy some XRP at 230 this morning as well. Those are the only two things that we bought. Woke up to a Bitcoin fill and a Ripple fill. So XRP as well. Solana, I'm not buying any more of that one. We did sell all of our Ethereum at 25,555 in and around there. So that was a good sellout so far. I think that got as high as 28 or 2900 for that, and Dogecoin still holding out pretty good. Cardano as high as 84 over the weekend and into last week. So yeah, so crypto still holding out pretty nice. Oh, just quickly, the highest we got was 355 on the market cap that I saw. So right now, market cap of crypto space coming back in a little bit, 339. So not down that much. Just like the Blue Jays, you get one win, you lose two. Little bit of a, one step forward, 2 steps back right now. Yeah, they're 500-ish right now. And if you're looking for 500-ish% increase in your Bitcoin, that may not happen for a minute until, well, we got to get to $500,000 right now to get 500.
Aaron likes the Tigers third baseman right now. Some random no name, because we got a ball from him.
Okay, good, yeah.
In the 8th inning of the game on Saturday, Bo Bichette hit a ground ball foul. The third baseman fielded it anyways, tossed it over the fence, and I was able to snag it. So she's like, ooh, that guy. And I'm like, I don't even know that dude's name. But she's like, yeah, he's nice. I'm like, yeah, because he threw us a ball. But go Blue Jays. Let's go over, I believe, to Adara.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on Regeneron here, REGN. This is less of a market-moving catalyst and more, I think, just one thing to be aware of. But Wall Street Journal reporting that Regeneron is apparently going to be buying 23andMe out of bankruptcy for $256 million. ME, of course, no longer publicly traded, but keep an eye here at REGN, set to buy ME, which, as you can see here, not a chart you can pull up anymore, out of bankruptcy for $256 million. Again, reported by the Wall Street Journal. Back to you.
Well, here's something which is breaking down. AMD just broke support. Every time you say AMD or China, you can count on Sharif to have something to say. You're very consistent, brother. I appreciate that. But AMD, while the market's at the highs, this just broke the support, which was right underneath, I don't know, 114.75 in there. I just took the flat bottom break. I didn't hit the key for it last time. Maybe we should. But I think as long as it can hold the prior bar low, to me, you want to break down to work right away in a general sense. And this isn't like a VWAP short or anything like that. I just realized I don't have a stop in. So that'll be about 114.80, 87, 86, somewhere in there. Right, so we just put it a couple cents above that. Want to play it into the low of the day, 114.22 is the low on advanced micro devices, although some people call it advanced money destroyer or some stuff like that. Oh, Nvidia just lost a bit as well. So Nvidia just lost 135 of support. Now we're headed back into the volume weighted average price. Apple's starting to head back in. We reloaded it at the same price. Looks like we're going to get VWAP once again. So Apple, just wait for your spots.
Yes.
Wait for your spots and grab them. Now all of a sudden, you've got almost everything heading down. Is CoreWeave going down? Probably not.
Probably is.
Nope.
No? Oh my
CoreWeave, another. We're at an all-time high, CoreWeave, $87. This is the most ridiculous stock in the market right now. At some point, there's going to be a reversion on this play, and you just got to be patient for it. Don't short every price on this, or your day would already be done if you were shorting every price on this. We're going back to Adara. Again, we've got money talks.
Wow.
Here's the US dollar. It kind of almost breaking out of its daily trend here. We know we had this uptrend here on the daily chart starting almost a month ago now, late April 2025. Higher highs, higher lows. Now, though, we're trying to find a little bit of support around just below that 100,000 level, but we are below the key 100,000 level, sorry, not 100,000, $100 level, sorry, for the DXY. It's interesting here. This is clearly a lot of support going back to September of 2024 before we began this uptrend that lasted pretty much the entire rest of the last year. So key level right now, though, let's see if we are able to hold it or if we end up breaking below it. Of course, support below is going to be at these areas we had forming the bases on this recent uptrend, 98.7, and this base, this double bottom here around that 97.5. Back to you.
Trade forever.
Thank you, Adara. This could be the first chance to get Nvidia at VWAP all day, and maybe or maybe not. Like that bottoming tail wick in here. If this is what it looks like, and it closes back above, all right, it looks like it's heading lower. I said if. It looks like it's heading lower. But if that had been a bottoming tail that closed above the next candle closed above 134.6, that would be one heck of a reversal off that little pullback that we just saw. Like Nvidia still looks strong. I know it's red right now. Nvidia did go green for like 10 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes, something like that. But if we don't get VWAP, which sits at 134, then this bottoming tail could be your entry point for sure. I joke about CoreWeave, obviously, but like I'm only kidding when I say at some point it has to go down. It doesn't have to do an epic pullback, but it has had some very, very big reversion plays here. Like this is $2. Did another one, which is a couple bucks. Like that's the shot that I would be looking for over on CoreWeave. No questions asked. But we might have missed one at 87. I thought there'd be like I want to see a parabolic move through the high to revert, not like a gentle move through the high. So you can get something big to try the short on. Thank you for the super chat. 2 on. Can you guys PTAL, please? Okay, at LAES and why it's rallying more relative to other quantum. I'll hit the like on that. We'll get there in a quick little second, but our breakdown in AMD does not hold a prior bar. So it able to hold on to the resistance. I was looking for a push down to get me into 114.20. I mean, it went about 10, 15 cents in the money, but that wasn't what I was looking to take on AMD, so we'll have to fail on that breakdown trade, the flat bottom break. And I don't know why PTAL is relatively strong. If it is, I don't even have please look at, LAES. I don't know why it's relatively strong because I have only looked at one name in the quantum space. And that was QBTS. I know the entire group is up. Sometimes if something is a higher percentage, it could just be the short float. It could be because it's playing catch up in a general sense. If I had to guess, if this is a quantum name and it hasn't been rallying with the rest of them clearly the last week, that would be the explanation. Like it only goes up a good percentage today because it was doing nothing, relatively speaking, last week. So it's getting pulled higher by the stronger names out there. But I'd much rather be in a QBTS, which is showing way more strength. Like look at this on the daily. This is in breakout territory. So LAES, yeah, you might get a late mover here. And it could, if it breaks above $3, that looks much better for a continuation long. Like close above the 50 period, stop some shorts out above 3, and then make another run at maybe like this level here, which is like 380 or so. So yeah, kind of a dull looking stock. I'm not really sure why it doesn't move more. And I'm not up to what the short flow might be. Probably double digits, but I haven't double checked.
Yeah, just as we only have 5 minutes left, we got another piece out there at 339. It was a little lower than 339, 338.80 or something like that for the low of Tesla. So we'll wait to see where, okay, here it's coming back in. So I just wanted to say, like, we're hoping that it breaks this level. Right now, I only have, once I do the math, about 20% left of both of these positions. A little bit less now on Google because Google fell right into the lows again. So we're going to hold the rest of this to see what winds up happening. But Joe, here we go, man. We got to do one of our favorite segments so far here today. Well, unfortunately, I have some bad news for everybody, and that is that although it's not bad news for many people around here because we have holiday today. So we do not have caterers. We do not have anything for lunch today. We do not have anything for breakfast today. But I just wanted to show everybody because this was the burger joint that our guy over here, Obi, has recommended over and over again. So Cabanos cheeseburgers. I just noticed that this website no longer working. So I don't know what's up with that.
Not good.
But here's the look. And apparently cheeseburgers. So it looks like they have a lot of everything. This is not necessarily for those on said diet. They do have which I'm not on one. But there it is, chicken, fried chickens there. Classic hot dog. That looks like a beef burger or cheeseburger to me as well. But this is what's supposed to be for lunch. But then once again, I have to have a fail on this because they are also celebrating Victoria Day. So all of y'all on your own for lunch. Everyone's got to figure it all out. Yeah. So whatever you want today, it's dealer's choice on what's for
it looks good, though.
Lunch. So I don't know. There's a shawarma place just across the street. There was a new poke bowl place right here that took over Freshie, so I wanted to get that, but I don't think they'll be open. So when I'm on for my little walk today, there's a Subway. I know you like that place.
I tend to just walk over to Subway and keep it simple. We get a salad lunch, so I try to keep it healthy.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that. The burgers look really darn good, though.
Yes,
we'll have to pick that place up. Like,
oh, we're going to do it. It's
we
just
should do it
now
on
that
like
we know they're closed.
We should do it on a Friday.
Right.
Like, whenever we do the Friday,
And I know
grab
Randy.
some beer sometimes.
I mean, if you guys watch Trailer Park, you guys know that Randy likes cheeseburgers. So it's a little bit of a shout out to Trailer Park boys there. Randy not here today either. So yeah, that's what's for lunch. So everyone put in the chat what you guys are having for lunch today. We actually had some bulls for breakfast because we sort of fried them up pretty good there on Google getting to the downside. But the bulls had their way with the market, and we'll talk about the NASDAQ. But there's the short 166, man. This has really carried the way for me again here. We had our biggest trade of the year, I think, on Google last week. This is going to be about half of what we made, but still a great trade there. This is what we got barbecued up on. So, you know, not just talking about, you know, what wins all the time over here. This is a 2 for 3 day with one of the three trades coming out, and that was trying to short this market and really believing in the short until it broke through 70. And once it did that, we're able to get out, and then we took another swing at it. But for some reason, whatever happened there right at 10:15, we had that, or 10:07, there was a little bit of a bump up in the market, and that sort of sent a lot of these names through. That same bump right into here for Tesla, I don't know, that was a different one, but right up there into the high of the day where we sat, again, being patient. Neil nailed the patient talk there when he talked about Apple. And waiting for that reload. That was a really great trade, but we're carrying the day here with Tesla off of those levels. But before we let you go, Sharif is back. He had his day off, so he's back energized. You've already seen him earlier.
Yes.
We've got Joe is back in the building as well.
Adair is back after.
And Adair is back. Yeah, Adair is back. So we say shout out to that. And we get our first Get It Adair of the day by Sharif. So followed by about 45 more of those coming up over the next couple hours. We say, all right, well, I like to get it. I'm saying this is your thing. You know, we all say our own thing. So
get it, SGA.
So get it, yeah. And again, a disappointing couple Game 7s last night. That is for sure. All right, here we go. Have you liked, subscribed, shared, or all of them?
All of them.
All of the above right there, there today. So I want to thank all of you guys. Over 9,000 still on board with us. So thank you so much for that. It means a lot. Stay on board. We have our big show coming to you in just a couple minutes with said gentlemen there, Sharif and Joe. But 2.2K, let's see if we can get that up a little bit. If you're still watching now and you haven't done that, please do it. All the trades we've had today, I feel like well described. $4 in the money on Tesla right now, $1.50 in the money on Google. Today's been a big day. If you're trading my style, hopefully you've had a big day there. Today, only 3 names for your boy, and they've been pretty successful. So we're really happy with it. Let's see if we can just hold this, see if we get that downside push in the market, and hopefully we'll be a little bit more greener pastures than where we are right now. But a good day, one of my best mornings so far.
That's what it's all about. And with 30 seconds to go, CoreWeave is about to put in its first red candle of the day. I said I don't want to short this thing until it shows me one, but 20 seconds now. It would also be this. In theory, it can be this trend break going on as well. So that comes from the volume weighted average price in. It's already broken this trend in here. So it's in the pocket, but I want to see the close right here. Like you could snap back up, but if it can close here, I'd throw a stop at about 86 and try to jump into this bad boy. So obviously CoreWeave has been an absolute beast for most of the time, but I paid for low case to take this shot at it. It is now 11 o'clock. We're throwing you guys over to the Bash Brothers. We'll be back at 2. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get some Subway. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what everyone else grabs for lunch. But
Joe wants to do that.
Time,
Joe wants to do that whole he wants us to go over so that he can owe us some time, and then he can magically say at his time, "Oh, you guys still owe us a minute." But
no, we can stretch.
Nah, you did a good.
Or we could tax you, and we could do like every minute we do, you owe us 2. Something like that.
That's what I'm saying. You want to start tariffing this stream now, Joe?
No.
Is that how you want to play Scott over there, Scotty B? Joey B. Was Joey B a new kid on the block or something like that? Joey B?
To be honest, I actually don't know the new
Joey
kids on the
Bitcoin
block.
over there?
I remember, what's-his-face's brother.
There was Jordan. Jordan was a new kid. Was Lance Bass was NSYNC.
Wasn't one of them Donnie?
Donnie, yes. Wahlberg.
That's it, yeah, Thing's brother.
Who you're
Donnie
getting.
Wahlberg, that's who I was thinking.
Yeah, my wife went to a New Kids concert at one point.
My neighbor is a huge...
Joey Burrow. Yeah, Joey B. That's where I know Joey Burrow.
Who is Joey B?
Joey Burrow. We always, that's obvious.
Oh.
I should have known that. So shout out to that right now. All right, $4 and change in the money, $1.50 and change. We're leaving you in good hands. All right, good trading today, good talk. I hope all of you enjoyed it. Thank you for that, man. 2.3K, that's a nice little number there. But hit the likes for your boys because Sharif's about to go do something he came up with. It's roll call time. All right, see you guys then. See ya.
See you too.